God damn. That's it, Andrew.
Uh-oh.
Calling it. Calling it.
Are you shutting the studio down?
I'm shutting the studio down.
Oh, no.
Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. Never again.
Mm-hmm.
Put it off the playlist. Take it off.
Dusty remembers when he remembers when he remembers when he lost his mind.
Yeah. Why would you play a song about how I might be crazy at the place that's probably most likely to make me crazy?
Yeah, let me set this up. Dusty works at a bank. I used to work at this bank. The bank uses a bunch, 40 songs rotated, maybe fewer than that, playlist that's like safe and makes people not want to kill themselves while working at the bank. It doesn't necessarily achieve that last part because it repeats all these horseshit songs. Like, people don't understand why I hate Linger by the Cranberries.
Yeah.
To the extent that I do. Like, there's songs I just don't like. But Linger by the Cranberries makes me want to choke something, right?
Sure.
It makes me hate cranberries, and they're tasty.
They're tart for my taste, but I understand.
Yeah, that's true. You can put them in a smoothie or like in some sort of shake, something where the cranberry isn't the main event. But
some sort of fancy salad.
I had a cranberry, I think White Claw the other day. That was pretty good. But
okay.
Anyway, Dusty is about to jump off a cliff because he is sick of hearing "Crazy" by Gnarls Barkley every day at work.
That's it. It's not 2005 anymore. Look, you've served us well. "Crazy" by Gnarls Barkley. I've heard acoustic covers of you by white gentlemen. I've heard every version of you that could possibly exist. You've been in a Kia commercial. I'm sure of it. You've been in a movie where there's some sort of montage happening. Mm-hmm. Look, man, you're an all-timer. You put up the numbers. But we're taking the jersey, we're hanging it.
We're hanging in the rafters.
It's over. It's over, dude.
The time has passed.
Never again. Nobody scores 100 points in the NBA anymore. You know, time has passed for that to occur.
That's true, because it's one of those songs that, like, you don't even hear the song anymore, in the sense that, like, if there's a person out there who routinely, recreationally listens to "Crazy," I don't know what to say about that person. Like, that is such a coffee shop commercial building song that I can't believe if somebody has that on their playlist. It's like having the Star Spangled Banner on your playlist. Like,
and it's not Gnarls Barkley's fault.
No, it's because it's the fault of the success of the song.
Yeah.
It's like, who's just getting ready, and this is a little less because I know more people probably listen to this, but this is how I feel about this song. Who's just like stoked, like gonna go on a walk or getting in the car or some shit like that, and they turn on Santeria, right?
Oh yeah, Santeria. I don't even want it coming out for the like the old timer players game. You know what I mean? Like, that's it. If I never hear Santeria again, I'll have heard it a million more times than I needed to.
Yeah, and that's the same.
And I love Sublime.
Yeah, seriously.
I do. I can't help it. I'm this person that lives in California. It is almost by law required that I love Sublime. And I've been in cover bands. I'll do it for the people, but never again of my own volition would I just be like, Santeria probably gonna hit right now, right?
Imagine turning on Santeria, or "Crazy." It's like, how could you just? Every song, you have every song. It's 2022. You can listen to any song you want, and guess what? If you don't pay for a streaming service, it's on YouTube. I promise, right?
Yeah.
And you play "Crazy" by Gnarls Barkley.
I tip my hat. You're on, like I said, you're in the rafters, dude. It is not because out of pure hatred. You're not "Crazy Bitch."
Oh, god damn it. Yeah. That one's rough.
By Buckcherry.
That's a lower back tattoo song.
Right. You've had your time, but I'm calling it. It is over. Never again.
That is true.
Out of rotation. Could you imagine if 10 years, I don't hear "Crazy, all of a sudden, and I'm like, oh shit, It's Crazy by Gnarls Barkley. I've never had the ability to be stoked and surprised that Gnarls Barkley is on since like mid 2005, probably.
I think we're onto something here because that's true. Like if we were just retired the song for a while, maybe it comes back. Maybe we want to listen to Crazy, but like just, and this is too on the nose, but you have to be crazy to
You'd have to be crazy.
intentionally listen to Crazy by Gnarls Barkley right now.
Yeah.
Because you'll just hear it. Like, if you're going to Starbucks, you're driving to Starbucks, you want a playlist for the drive to Starbucks, don't listen to Crazy because guess what? You'll hear it in Starbucks.
It's in the Starbucks. It's going to be in the Target. It's going to be at the Jamba Juice where you get your cranberry smoothie. Like it's everywhere, and it's just gotta go away for a while.
We agree on a lot of things, Dusty. I don't know if we've ever agreed on something more.
You know,
except for heavyweights. You know,
Yeah.
No, we've gone back and forth on heavyweights, but I think we're both in agreement that it's a banger. But
that one of the participants in today's event that we watched often says, "How can I miss you if you won't go away?
yeah,
Just give me some space, Crazy, and maybe it comes back for me."
absence makes the heart grow fonder. Maybe you stop being a coffee shop song and you start being a fun song. You know,
Yeah, it's
try it.
it's gonna be at high school reunions because like that's what people remember from. If you're a high school reunion type of going person, you know.
You know what it should learn from is that fucking Gautier song. Somebody that I used to know.
Yeah.
Because that song was fucking on its way to becoming crazy. Because that song
Yeah.
was everywhere. And it was like saturated like crazy.
On the playlist. For the
Yeah.
thing.
Because that song has disappeared in a way. Like you don't
Yep.
hear it all the time anymore. And now
there's no more YouTube covers of it.
Yeah.
It's doing great. You know?
and now when I hear it, I'm like, oh shit, yeah, I remember this song fucking was annoying back in the day, but it's a banger. It's good.
I want a Mr. Blue. I want a song that's a Mr. Blue Sky, where
It's
like
delightful every time. Renegade by Styx.
yeah, but it's because like in a movie or a TV show, whenever they use Mr. Blue Sky, I'm not inundated with it, and I'm like, oh god damn, I forgot how great this song is.
Forgot how big of a bad motherfucker Jeff Lynne is.
Yeah, he's in a band called Electric Light Orchestra, and they fucking nail it, dog.
They're so good.
Yeah, impossibly, given the name of their band.
It's the same way for me with TNT, but TNT even has disappeared a little bit. TNT, when it was on like Tony Hawk,
Yeah,
and that song fucking died for me. I loved that song. Like I rode the wave when it happened, and then I was eventually like, you know what? I don't think I ever want to hear that song again in my life, like ever. But now I'm not as pissed off when I hear it because I haven't heard it as much lately. But
TNT by
fucking AC/DC, dog.
okay, I wasn't sure if there was a different TNT song that I was unaware of. Yeah, I have a friend actually who hates AC/DC. Like, used to love them, listened to them too much, can't do it anymore.
I am almost on that fucking thing.
Yeah.
For Those About to Rock is a badass song though.
And you have like some fun, like Dirty Deeds Done Dirt Cheap is my favorite
It's a good
AC/DC
song.
song. And that song never gets overplayed. So then I'll be going somewhere and I'll be like, you know what? Fucking Dirty Deeds, dude. That's the time.
I'm gonna start walking out of places that play "You Shook Me All Night Long" so it doesn't ruin it for me because I like that song and that is a song that everybody fucking plays.
That's another cover band ass song.
Yeah, it is very good. It's very much a cover band ass song.
Yeah. Sweet Child of Mine and You Shook Me All Night Long. If you want some people who you don't think would normally dance to get out there and do it, hit them with those back to back. You got grannies hanging out dancing.
Yeah,
know?
and the thing that hurts "Sweet Child of Mine" is it's hard to play on guitar correctly, and it's hard to sing correctly. But a lot of people go down. You know, they don't sing it like Axl does. I don't like Axl's voice. We've had this conversation. I know you're a big GNR guy.
And they could play Appetite for Destruction at work every day, and I would never fucking get
I
bored of it.
fucking love my job, bro.
Yeah, dude. Oh, it's Rocket Queen again, bro. God damn.
Is it the same? This is inside baseball, but is it the same? Did the soundtrack change at all when you changed from the corporate office to the branch that you work in now?
Yeah, the one at the branch I work in now is a lot better.
Oh shit! But the Crazy is just.
But Crazy's still there. It's still hanging out.
All right.
And it's always I'll like have to change podcasts or I'll have to do something where I can't have my own
Crazy's
headphones in,
playing again.
and
Like
that's when it comes on.
There's
Yeah.
like a minute and a half buffer and Crazy's on.
Yeah, dude, driving me adequately crazy. Yeah. And not You Drive Me Crazy, the Britney Spears song, also a banger.
It is a banger. It is.
Yeah.
It's. There was a time when we wouldn't let ourselves call that a banger because that came out when I was like 7. But I'm ready to admit it. It's a fucking banger. Just same thing with "Complicated" by Avril Lavigne. It's a banger. It's a fucking really good song.
Yeah, lying to myself. Why?
Yeah, what was I doing to myself back then?
Yeah.
I didn't like I Believe in a Thing Called Love when it first came out. I was wrong.
Right. It's big of you to say that.
I was wrong.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it. And now I'm like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
It's like the best song to come out of that era. Minus Everything on the Black Parade.
I did. I had a buddy who was really into, like, I guess you would call it butt rock or like glam, whatever the Darkness plays, right? Glam rock or whatever it is. And he was the one who was like, dude, this Darkness album rules.
Dude,
And I was like, okay. And so I just bought it at like Target or whatever, back whenever Target oddly had really good music in their collection. And I was like, yeah, this album rules. And then it took a while for the Darkness to make a second album.
Yeah.
And my buddy was the only one riding for it then. And we like listened to it in his car, and I was like, oh, I don't think they got it still.
Oh, really? I haven't heard the second album. I like Justin Hawkins. He's got a really good YouTube channel.
It's
the
called
singer.
One Way Ticket to Hell and Back.
Dude, well, I like the name.
Yeah.
I like the name.
I might need to revisit it, but it's I was like the magic might have ran out on this one.
I got super mad at AC/DC when they put out an album. It's probably like 10 years ago now that it was called Rock or Bust.
Yeah.
It's like, how fucking old are you?
Well, that's what an easy mission to either rock or bust. It's like, I guess if we just plug these into the amplifier, that would technically be rock, right? Where we've accomplished what we were after.
I want to put out an album called Rock and Bust. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Real quick,
though.
Go ahead.
You know who loves AC/DC?
Who?
Vince McMahon.
That's such a Vince McMahon ass fucking thing. Like, because he's so weird and unplugged from the world that he just likes the most basic, like, everybody loves him band, you know?
He couldn't love AC/DC more, and AC/DC couldn't be more for Vince.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
He's like,
he's the guy.
You had big balls. Ha ha ha.
Yeah. Backseat rhythm, girls got rhythm. Hell yeah.
Knocking me out with those American thighs, Sable. So, real quick, before we get into it, I got it. We mentioned this on the last podcast. I got to hear your thoughts because I'm sure you've listened to it. What do you think of Blink with Tom edging?
I think it's okay.
I gotta tell you,
I don't love it.
I fucking love it.
I've
listened to it like 15 times.
I think it's good. The thing that really got me through some of those Blink records that I would probably call mediocre is the like Travis drums, like the weird ass drum patterns that he comes up with. And this is a really sort of basic for him drum pattern that he's playing.
He's with the Kardashian, bro. He's not the same.
Right, no, and like I like that Tom's back. I like that he's not doing the accent as hard.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's doing it a little bit. He's doing it he has to. I would be bummed if he didn't. It's Blink 182. Right. What is he gonna do?
Yeah, but no, it's good. I'm interested to hear what the rest of it sounds like. Like it's a good single out. Like it's a good single.
Yeah, and they've
because it's very singable and it's very catchy.
Yeah, and it's the one thing it sounds like they auto-tuned Mark a little bit. I'm not sure about that. It does seem a little like the vocals seem really produced, but I fucking like it. I feel like a 15-year-old again.
Yep.
I went and TP'd a house the night that I heard it. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited to hear. Maybe I was gonna like it no matter what. Maybe I'm my brother watching Halloween.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, we've seen Halloween. Can't talk about it.
No,
Can't talk about it.
but
You gotta hold it in.
I did see it.
Tis a
with
silly
my own
place.
eyes. Yeah. Second thing we have to do a quick follow up on.
All right.
Did you go the full 5 rounds with the Viper at Magic Mountain?
Oh no, I did not ride Viper.
Bro.
No, I didn't. Fuck that. My head was fine. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rode a lot of rides. Their new Full Throttle. It's the second time I've ridden it. It might be the sickest ride they have.
Really?
It is like you sit in. It was the last ride we rode too. No, we went and rode Ninja again because we got Fast Pass, which is very expensive. I'll tell you this right now. But we were sitting in the. So in Full Throttle, there's no clicky part. There's no click, 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 click.
Oh.
It's just bang, like it just shoots you. And
So like Batman, because Batman's that way.
no, it's well, Batman might not have a clicky part, but this shoots you out like a bullet.
Yeah.
Like they literally fuck with you. They're like 3, 2, bang, and then they'll be like,
Of course.
you know, everybody say ah, and then they fucking hit the button, you know. But it's supposed. I think it's like the tallest loop in the world. It's like 160 feet.
Okay.
And they shoot you out like a bullet straight into the loop, and they have it timed up, and they have the math right where it like pauses at the top of the loop momentarily, so you're upside down.
Oh, fuck that.
And then it goes down,
I
and then
would not enjoy that.
and then it's dude, it's so sick. And then they go and they do a like a corkscrew, and then they come up, and you're going over the top of the loop now. But they stop halfway up, and they go backwards through the corkscrew, and then they go through the corkscrew again, and then you go over the top of the loop again, and then you're at the beginning. It's a very short ride, but it might be the dopest ride there. I rode Goliath. Goliath was sick.
Goliath is probably my favorite ride
Yeah.
at Magic Mountain.
Yeah, Tatsu was gnarly as shit. I don't remember Tatsu being as scary, and I think I might be officially 32 now.
I don't ride Tatsu. I rode it one time, and it ruined my day.
Yeah,
Like, I couldn't do anything after that.
Yeah,
and I'm good with roller coasters.
It fucked my girlfriend up pretty good, but she's a trooper and she recovered pretty well. But she rode the Lex Luthor ride, and I kept fucking Lex Luger has ruined the name Lex Luthor for me because I have to think about it now every fucking time I say it. But
the total package Lex Luthor.
yeah, so you know, Superman: The Escape, it goes straight up in the air. They took that. It's still the same apparatus, but it's. Have you seen the Lex Luthor ride?
I don't think so.
You sit on either side of the tall tower on Superman, and they just fucking take you up 400. I think it's 415 feet in the sky, and then they just free fall, drop you straight to the ground. And
So it's
it
like
always
Tower
looks
Terror,
like
kind of.
it always looks like you're going. Yeah, it's like Tower Terror, but like fucking for
But you
He-Man
can see
on steroids. Yeah,
Like, you can see where you're going.
it's probably like twice as tall. But it's terrifying, and I refused to ride it, and my girlfriend rode it and had a great time. Yeah. So there's
the
two
only
things.
one that I won't ride is I won't ride Superman because I don't like not being able to see where I'm going.
I always refused to ride Superman. It wasn't. I don't think it's even there anymore. If it was there, it's not operational. I've never ridden it. Never will ride it. Go fuck yourself. I'm very unlikely to ever ride Lex Luthor. There's another one called Crazanity, which I I boycotted because it's a stupid name.
Right.
Stupid name. But it's like one of those things. It's like a circle on a giant pendulum that like swings you back and forth like that, and the circle spins the whole time. And it like looks fun until like the circle literally goes past parallel, and it's swinging people back and forth. I'm just not fucking into that. Girlfriend rode it, had a good time. She said it got a little too gnarly at the end there, but I just won't do it. I have no pride when it comes to that shit. Then I stood in line for a beer for an hour and a half, and there were a bunch of spooky guys fucking waving axes in my face, and guys like the haunted house is kind of like I really don't give a shit about haunted houses. Like there's no appeal for me for haunted houses whatsoever. I don't fucking care. Fucking the cool thing about haunted houses, I like when if you're like me and you don't care about haunted houses, go right behind another couple of people.
Yeah.
Because the people in front of you will get scared, and you get to watch them get scared. and then you get to watch the staff, like the people who came out and scared him, like giggle and slowly go back into their corners. Because they know, I got that motherfucker really good. And they go back to their spot, and then they just let you go. Because they can't scare everybody. They have to basically scare, like, every other group. So you can just watch them with the fourth wall broken down, where they're, like, fixing their hair and, like, laughing. I was in the line for the bathroom with one of the freaks, with one of the guys that are, he was like
Psycho Circus freaks.
Yeah, he's like covered in blood and like looking scary, but he's just checking his watch, standing in line for the bathroom. It's hilarious.
That's where Disneyland beats you.
I was gonna say that shit don't happen at Disneyland.
No, they don't let you do that shit. Mickey never takes the head off, while he's out among the people.
So last thing.
That's really funny.
Yeah, it's hilarious. Last thing, Fast Pass. So it cost us $130 to go.
Jesus.
The ticket was $130. Fast Pass, $130 a person, by the way. Fast Pass, $175 a person.
Woo.
And
sorry, I just peaked the audio there. That was not prepared.
Yeah, we sprung for it. Not only did it cut every ride's weight in half, but also you can, I'm sure people have experienced this. They're not reinventing the wheel, but you can like reserve a spot in line from your phone. So it's like, hey, you can get on the ride in 30 minutes. So we go fucking have a bite, whatever, and
come back.
It's still sustaining. And then you just get right on the ride, basically. Sometimes there's like a 10-minute wait, but like it was so much better. So anybody, if you are a sucker and you go, there's a lot of people who go to theme parks once a year or whatever, right?
Right.
If you go once a year and you don't spring for Fast Pass, go once every other year and get Fast Pass.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say, because we did the same thing for when we went to Universal.
Yeah.
I think the Universal ticket was like $104 a person. And then when we got there, we stood in line for the first ride, and it was hot as shit, and there were a bunch of people. And I had mentioned the Fast Pass thing to Sarah, and she was like, how much is that Fast Pass again?
Yeah.
I was like, it's like $85 a person. There are four of us. But I was like, salesman of the year, selling it to her, like, when are we coming back to Universal? Like, if I want to do all the shit, let's just do it. Because it's going to cost, like, ultimately, unless we're coming back a bunch, it's worth it to eat the money right now, especially on like a special trip or whatever, because we're not coming back for 5 years. If we ever come back at all. Like, I loved the Simpsons Land and I loved all that stuff. Like, am I going back to Simpsons Land? I don't know.
It's like, hey, shit, it's Moe's again. Moe's not there. Like, it's cool to see all the storefronts and shit, but like, oh man, it's that broken down plane from was it World War Z?
No, it's War of the Worlds.
War of the Worlds is pretty dope, but like you don't have to go see that every year. It's still gonna be there,
Right.
So that's my point of advice. If you go every year and you don't get Fast Pass, go every other year, get Fast Pass, and go to the beach when you would have gone, or do something that doesn't cost as much money, because it made things so much better, bro. We would have had to wait in so many lines and you wouldn't have got to ride anything.
Yeah. Like it would have been like you get to ride four things instead of everything that you want.
We could have done whatever we wanted. And like so you still have to wait in line for the haunted houses when you have Fast Pass, because it doesn't apply. And we were standing there and I'm like, man, this is how the peasants
live.
Yeah, this is how they experience this. Like, this is what they did all fucking day. You came here and did this all fucking day. Like, and I understand if you can't afford it, I get it. I've been in that position in my life. I don't have any kids. My cat died. I don't have to even buy him food anymore.
Sure.
So like,
yeah, if you can't do it, definitely go to the theme park if you want. But like, if you're thinking, is it worth the money? It is 100% worth it.
Yeah, if you're on the fence, fucking do it, 100%. And Six Flags is paying me to say this, and Dusty, we're going for free in 2 weeks.
Crazy Entity, the craziest ride I've ever ridden. If they played Crazy, that's the one appropriate place where I will allow Gnarls Barkley.
They paid him to re-record it. Does that make me crazy?
Look, you're gonna tell me that CeeLo isn't gonna take my Magic Mountain's money?
That's his name, CeeLo Green. His name isn't Gnarls Barkley.
Yeah. You think him and Danger Mouse aren't taking the bag if it's offered to him?
I would.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was cool. It was cool. My body hurt. I think 32 is my body is starting to go, hey, you really want to fucking do this?
Yeah. Pert near the end of roller coaster time.
You'll get thrown around. There were a couple times I got off of roller coasters and I was like, am I like, can I walk straight? Like, am I Welcome to Snark Marks, everybody. We are a wrestling retrospective podcast from the Central Valley of California. I am sorry that my, I'm sure, brilliant thought that I was making before the theme song got cut off. I ran out of storage space on my computer, and then I panicked, thinking that we lost the whole intro that I thought was dope.
Wait, did we get the story about why I'm not welcome at though I'm not welcome at World Market anymore?
No, we don't. We didn't. Dusty was putting papayas in his wife's purse.
I thought that it was a sort of like a barter market.
Yeah,
you know?
It's a market. It's not a store.
Yeah, I thought that it was just, whatever you could get out of there with is a long story, big misunderstanding.
I thought this was for the world.
Things cost money in the world?
God man. Damn it. Anyway, I'm Andrew. This is Dusty. We are starting a new... Well, first of all, subscribe to our goddamn YouTube channel. Hit the bell, right? And click that thumbs up thing,
Yeah, smash that like and subscribe button. Whatever you feel is necessary.
I think a lot of people click our YouTube videos expecting like a video. You know how people do because our like average time listening is like, it's good, but like there's some people that like just turn it off in like 20 seconds.
Yes. Once they don't see a moving image.
Yeah, and they hear my voice. I'm sorry, but so but also follow us on the socials at SnarkMarksPod on Instagram and Twitter. At SnarkMarkD is Dusty on Twitter. I'm on Instagram at Andrew Weidel. I'm also on Twitter. Who cares, right? All my wrestling takes are at SnarkMarksPod. You can see me talk about a blatantly cheating referee that we will discuss later. No, it wasn't blatantly cheating. They just didn't know a better way to do that spot. But anyway, we've done a lot of deep dives and long form things, and Dusty's been wanting us for a long time to do 1989 NWA, right, Dusty?
Hell yeah, dude. Man, this is my this might be my sweet spot.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what, I just love the NWA. I also love bad NWA. Sometime I'd really like to do 1992 WCW, which is weird. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but it's like still holds a special place in my heart. Like, this was a fun, I'm gonna get it out in front of it. It's a fun show. There's some weird stuff. I have some thoughts, but I had a good time watching this show.
This was a fun show. Did was Pizza Guy running WCW in 1992?
No, Kip Fry / Bill Watts was running.
Wasn't
WCW.
Bill Watts Pizza Guy?
No, Bill Watts is Mid-South Wrestling guy.
God damn it! Who's Pizza Guy? What's Pizza Guy's name?
Jim Herd.
Oh, okay.
Pizza Guy.
Short names,
Yeah.
I was gonna say 3-letter first names, but Bill has 4 letters. Incidentally, I just counted in my head. So anyway, so we've got this is Chi-Town Rumble, 1989. Wonder where this is.
It's the one and only Chi-Town Rumble for in 1989.
So is it the only one that they ever did, Chi-Town Rumble?
Yeah, it was like they had a problem with branding for a while in the NWA / WCW. So like, it's in Chicago, but it's going out on pay-per-view. So maybe just give it like, that's partially why Vince wins. He's, WrestleMania has strong branding, and you could take it anywhere. But the Chi-Town Rumble can only be in Chi-Town.
I understand why you do like recurring pay-per-views. It's a good business model. It's also like just good for the viewers. Like it's fun to be like, oh goddamn, it's Halloween Havoc coming up,
Right.
But I like one-off pay-per-views. I like the one-off pay-per-view names because you don't have to say the year. You just say Chi-Town Rumble.
Everybody knows.
People know. I can't say everybody. I go ask my dad, hey, what the Chi-Town Rumble is.
He probably it's a baseball brawl from '86.
Somebody beat up Michael Jordan
at Comiskey Park.
Yeah. There's no T in that, by the way. Comiskey.
Oh, Comiskey
Watch your
Park.
mouth. So
whatever. White Sox, come get me.
So yeah, right off the bat, there's a lot of people in this that I love. A lot of people near and dear to my heart. A couple goats on this show.
Yeah.
I had the wrong Russian assassin, apparently, in the first. I thought it was Russian assassin number 2. It was Russian assassin number 1 in the first match, right?
Easy mistake to make, yeah.
I thought they said number 2 on the telecast, and I was stoked, and I'll tell you why later, I guess. But bummed that it was number 1, to be honest.
Yeah.
And I tweeted that it was number 2. God damn it!
Just to get the incidentals out of the way, we are watching the Chi-Town Rumble, which took place February 20th, 1989, at the UIC Pavilion in Chicago, Illinois. The attendance was 8,000 people, and this was a raucous 8,000 people, I would have to say. They were stoked for an awful lot of this show.
Yeah, they were ready to burn the chairs.
Yeah. Some housekeeping here. The NWA, or Jim Crockett Promotion, more accurately, was purchased by Ted Turner and renamed WCW on November 21st, 1988. So this is depending on when Starrcade was that year, this is either the first or the second WCW pay-per-view that is ran. And our guy, Jim Herd, is in charge of WCW at this point. But the booker is a guy named George Scott, who's famous for his run in the early 80s in the WWF, working with Vince, and he had been in wrestling a lot longer than that, had worked for Jim Crockett Promotions before, and had been brought back to help run things in 1989. But Ric Flair is also the guy who advocates to bring Ricky Steamboat in to do this program with him, because Flair is kind of booking the world title situation because he's the champ.
That'd be so sick. You're the champ. You're the champ, and you get to be like, yeah, I want to wrestle that fucking guy.
Yeah, that was essentially it. He was like, because later in 1989, there's another guy that comes in that I think you're really going to enjoy that Flair wants to have a feud with. And so Flair's basically calling his own shots in the world title. But at this time, George Scott is technically the booker.
And this is what I'm telling you. I'm intentionally kind of staying away from what happens in the future.
Right.
Because, I didn't know who won the Flair Steamboat match until I watched it. Right. And I want it to stay that way as much as it can.
Yep.
So if there's any, fill-in stuff, hey, after this happens, all that, make sure you only tell me what happens before the next show we watch.
Gotcha.
If possible.
Yeah.
This is Headlocks the musical, right?
Yeah, there's an awful lot of headlocks. The theme from Stranger Things welcomes us to the show. A lot of synth. As the interstitials here.
And so when Paul E. and Cornette, when they all come out,
yeah,
are those overdubbed songs that they couldn't use their walkout songs, or is that what they walked out to?
I believe that is the actual music.
God damn. They walked out to just this party synth fucking 80s club music.
Oh, the Midnight Express theme is famous for being one of the better wrestling theme songs.
God damn it, I love Bobby Eaton, but that's later in the show too. Anyway.
Our announcers here are Jim Ross and Magnum TA. I don't know if you've ran across Magnum TA yet.
I don't think I have. And
you'd know that mullet anywhere.
He's an interesting character.
He was a wrestler, and he was primed to basically become the next big babyface after Dusty Rhodes, because he was like Dusty's protege, and he had a feud with Flair, and he had one of the best wrestling matches of all time with Tully Blanchard, an I Quit match at Starrcade. And then he got into a motorcycle accident and like legitimately almost died and had to retire.
That
And
sucks.
so yeah, so like he was the next guy, and he got into that accident and had to retire. Was lucky to have lived, but couldn't wrestle anymore.
And I just don't like the name, man. Like, it's the same thing as Paul E. Dangerously. Like, you just take a name from a thing and you just slightly change it, right? Like,
Right.
because Magnum PI, I'm sure, existed before this, right?
Yes, and he kind of has the Tom Selleck
And I get that he's got the mustache. But call yourself something else, Magnum TA. Anyway.
Yeah. I want to get your thoughts, because I think this might be the oldest NWA show that we've watched all the way through. How do you feel about the aesthetic?
Oh, dude, I fucking love it. I have dreamed recently, not for years, but recently, of starting a wrestling promotion where I use old cameras.
Oh, okay.
I like this old, it looks a lot more epic than the polished, like, a million different camera angles, and they're doing the WWE thing where they're moving the camera for every punch and, like, all that horse shit. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need the pyro. I don't need the, like, if I go to a show, yeah, I'd be sick to see that stuff, right? But, like, on TV, I like this understated, it wasn't understated at the time, I'm sure, but, like, I like this, where it's a lot more intimate, the crowd's right on top of you, the barriers aren't, like, there's hardly any barriers, like metal poles, you know? I love it, man. I'm a huge fan of this stuff.
We opened the show with some montage of like the various NWA stars set again to Stranger Things synth music. And then Bob Caudle, who's our interviewer for the evening, is catching up with Michael Hayes. And this white hot babyface Michael Hayes, who is coked out of his mind. Like he essentially, they do a rundown of the card at the top, Jim Ross and Magnum TA do. And then they go to Michael Hayes, and he essentially does the Vince McMahon rundown of the same card. He's like, man, I'm wrestling tonight, but man, we got the Road Warriors taking on the Varsity Club. God damn. It's like,
yeah.
Real
Screamy Michael Hayes, and he is running down. He's just putting the whole card over, which I love. I'm a big Michael Hayes guy then. Seems like kind of a tool bag now, but he's probably a tool bag then, but I like the character.
Sure.
Did you notice that they censored when he said Chicago?
I did not. No.
I rewound it to make sure this happened. You know how they don't beep things, they just mute?
Yeah.
He said Chicago, Illinois. I watched his mouth. And they muted Chicago, Illinois. So I was wondering, but this is babyface Michael Hayes, so I doubt he did. I was wondering, did he say Shitcago or something?
I have no idea.
I don't know why, like, you can't say Chicago on Peacock, but they 100% muted his mic on when he said Chicago. I didn't get it, but
maybe when the people watch it now, they don't want him to feel alienated.
CM Punk charges them every time they say Chicago.
This is only for Chicago.
Yeah.
So Hayes comes out, two things. One, Michael Hayes' little bouncy prance that he does to the ring in his robe. Timeless.
You can't get better than that, and I don't know why. Like, I was practicing it earlier, and I feel like he developed this because he was trying to be a bird, like the Freebirds.
It's a lot of wrist action.
It's almost like he's like kind of daintily flapping his wings a little bit, and it evolved into just like the back of his palms facing forward as he walks out. But I don't know why I love it so much, but it's like one of my favorite things in wrestling is watching Michael Hayes prance his way to the fucking ring.
And Bad Street USA, an all-time banger.
100%.
It rules.
And he's like singing it when he's like he's on the ring post and he's like mouthing the words. And I wrote I wonder who's going to win this one. The guy they interviewed to put the whole card over and who got the only televised intro, or Russian Assassin #1.
So this is Michael P.S. Hayes versus Russian Assassin #1 with his manager Paul Jones. Michael Hayes as a white meat, fiery babyface. Jim Ross says red, white, and blue literally runs through his veins.
Literally.
No, it doesn't, Jim. No, it doesn't.
God damn it, Jim Ross.
Paul Jones is a famous manager. He was a manager in Memphis. He had Paul Jones Army and all these different promotions that he went to, which was just a bunch of the sort of mid-card heels. And he also ran against Jerry Lawler when Lawler was a babyface. He looks like he's the coach of a Division I basketball team. Like, I could very easily see him on the Indiana sideline talking about pick and rolls.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, grungy guy.
Yeah. The crowd is huge into Michael Hayes here, and it's like,
oh, he's over.
Yeah, a lot of it is, like you said, it's a lot of headlocks and working holds and a little bit of fiery babyface spots coming back. But this match is early in this show. The show suffers from this match is too long for what it needs to be doing.
It is too long.
Yeah. There is,
but it's not bad. Like,
no, and
this was
it
not
has
an excruciating match at all.
No, it has a ton of heat. Like,
and Michael Hayes, he does the thing. We talked about it with Macho Man recently, and I think it was when Macho Man got married. But you know how Macho Man does the thing where he looks left and right at the crowd?
Yeah.
And that's always gets the crowd is always, every time any babyface does that, the crowd's like, whoa, fuck yeah! Like, they're just like, and
yeah.
So he kept getting Russian Assassin in a headlock, and he would just look back and forth at the crowd, like, what do I do next? What do I do next? And
keep headlocking him, right?
What's going on?
Yeah. So out of a back body drop, Michael Hayes reverses, hits a DDT. And that's the finish. 15 minutes, 48 seconds. This got a star and a half. I like the DDT still being a strong finisher. It's one of the things I like about 1989. The Russian Assassin's dead. Like,
I completely
no way
agree.
he's good enough.
I completely agree. I it's kind of a bummer that the DDT is not a protected finisher anymore. We've talked about it ad nauseum. The natural processes that wrestling's going to go through. You start doing things too much, and it stops being as big. But I love the I mean, you're bouncing the dude's head off the ground. In essence, in theory,
right.
You're not actually doing it, but like, that would hurt like shit.
Yeah, it's very believable as a finisher because I could believe if I grabbed you by the head and dropped you onto the ground, you know, it would certainly daze you for 3 seconds at the very least.
I'd shit my pants.
Yeah, be.
I'd do that without the DDT, but I'd do it quicker.
With the DDT, yeah. Did you notice the referee counting technique in this match? It is very dainty.
Bro, you couldn't even see it. I was like, is he counting? Because he is like, he was going like maybe six, maybe a foot off the ground.
Yeah, but it was just like 1, 2, 2.5.
There's some weird ass fucking referee shit in this whole thing.
Yeah.
NWA referees, it was the Wild West back then, man.
So we go backstage, and Ricky Steamboat is with his wife and his son, his chunky baby.
It is a chunky baby.
Who wants that microphone so bad.
Mm-hmm.
And Steamboat is talking about how him and Flair are different, you see, because Flair's out every night chasing women and chasing fame and chasing money, and Ricky Steamboat's at home with the family unit. And that's how he's going to win tonight, is the power of family. And he does take the time to put over Flair as a great champion, but then he's like, you know, I'm going to win tonight. I'm going to do it for my family. I have some thoughts. They're the same thoughts Ric Flair always had, which was Ricky Steamboat sounds like a nerd, and Ric Flair sounds like the coolest fucking dude in the world, comparatively.
Also very interesting. You remember how I used to ask you, guess how many times this person's been married, right?
Yes.
We'll do a game. Who's been married more times? Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat.
Okay. I believe it is Ric Flair.
So Ric Flair's been married 5 times.
Yeah.
Leslie Goodman, Elizabeth Farrell, Tiffany. I'm not going to name all of them.
Yeah.
5, that's too many. 5 times, right?
Yeah.
Ricky Steamboat has been married 5 times.
I thought that he had only been married 3 times.
This was his 3rd wife. that was on the thing when he was talking about the sanctity of the union of family.
Yeah.
But I'm not an anti-divorce guy, right?
Right.
Maybe Ricky Steamboat loves family so much he collected them, right?
Right.
But
Well, also, there's no Wikipedia for Ricky Steamboat. This is
that's true. Nobody
you could
knows.
just leave your family and start a new family somewhere
that
else.
is true.
Time.
That is true.
You know?
His other two wives don't know where he is.
Yeah, it's 2 states over. No, you were married to Richard Steamboat. I'm Rick Steamboat.
I'm not gonna. I didn't change my name to Blood for nothing. Okay.
Yeah.
So Ricky Steamboat, 5 wives, 1 child. I don't know how much this guy likes family.
And that one baby, this chunky baby.
Yeah, his one kid is Richie Steamboat, real fucking clever.
Yeah.
Is it Richie Blood? Hold on, let me look it up. Richard Blood, yeah.
Yep. Not even Richard Blood II, just Richard Blood.
Oh wait, no, yeah, he is. So yeah, Richard, he's also Dick Blood. He's
Yeah.
also Dick Blood.
Little, but here, just a chunky baby who wants that microphone.
Just a chunky little Dick Blood. You know what I mean?
Next we got Sting versus
Sorry.
Hacksaw Butch Reed, and this is like real early Sting, straight up surfer Sting with the fluorescent tights and the early face paint, and even still, he's over like shit. People love Sting.
Yeah, but hold on. I had a funny note, so I got to bring it up. During the Steamboat promo,
Yeah.
he's like, "I'm not O.J. Simpson going after Jim Brown." He should have said, but it hadn't happened yet.
Yeah.
I'm not O.J. Simpson going after Jim Brown. I'm O.J. Simpson going after Nicole Brown.
That's
If I'm fucking. That is a Commissioner Idell line.
if you've ever had one.
I've ever had one.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shit, her last name's Brown too. I have to mention this.
There it is. It's so is Sting the epitome? Is he Zach Morris incarnate at this point? Like,
Yeah,
he kind of looks like he could go to Bayside High.
Nebraska ass fucking
Yeah.
Sting. Steve, isn't that his name? Steve.
Yeah.
Yeah, and was he really only 3 years into wrestling?
Yes.
That's impressive.
Yeah, he's doing great. He needs to get rid of the rat tail at the end of his.
Honestly, I fucking
flat
love it. It's a fucking blonde flat top with a rat tail, bro. It's the 80s. Live a little bit.
Oh man!
If he had it now, it'd be a problem.
It's a rough look. So Jim Ross is really selling like we're the NWA. We wrestle. Well, I don't know what other thing you watch, but here we're wrestling. And he even takes a cheap shot at the Ultimate Warrior, where he's like, you know, he broke into the business as a tag team, and I'd have to say that since coming to the NWA, he's far superior to the guy he used to be in that team with.
Yeah.
All right, Jim Ross.
Well, I mean, he is better than.
It's true.
Well, what does Jim Ross say about AEW? Do they wrestle at AEW? You know what I mean? Anyway,
Yeah.
Butch Reed is addicted to cheating.
He loves it, dude.
He can't stop cheating, even when he doesn't need to cheat. The man cheats.
But to be fair, Sting is also biting Butch Reed's hand.
Who cares, bro?
Yeah, which is an odd babyface move to bite.
Sometimes you gotta go after somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like this is the first offense of the crazy blind referees in NWA. Butch Reed cheats so many times with that referee just like very clearly looking in another direction.
Yeah. The abdominal stretch, the classic, put the guy in the abdominal stretch and then grab the rope for extra leverage. And my favorite move is whenever the referee asks the crowd if the heel is grabbing the rope, and they're like, "Yes, you fool!" And then he's like, "Well, you know, I can only call what I see here, people."
And he's asking,
why ask?
He's turning away from the action to ask the crowd and allowing further cheating.
Yeah. I don't know, man. There are times where I'm like, I enjoy Butch Reed. His offense in this match is so boring.
It's all
like
holds,
they don't.
so we can cheat.
Yeah, he's just holding Sting down.
And there's another part where Butch Reed was like leaning on the ropes to do a pin, and or he had him in a submission. I can't remember. He cheated so many goddamn times in this match. But the referee like finally notices, and you hear the referee go, "Hey, wait a minute!"
That referee, young Teddy Long. So
well, Teddy Long's the blindest mother. He's the guy. He's the biggest offender in this whole thing.
Yeah,
he's because he's the Mike Rotunda versus Rick Steiner ref, and he misses some cheating on that one too.
yeah. He's also by the middle of next year, he is the manager of Doom, which is Butch Reed and Ron Simmons tag team. So
fuck yeah, that's quite a tag team, by the way.
Yeah. So the end of this match is the Butch Reed blocks the sunset flip that Sting does and is trying to grab the ropes to get a pin and cheat. And Teddy Long kicks his hand, and that allows Sting to complete the sunset flip and get the pin. Again, this match too long. 20 minutes, 7 seconds, and this got half a star. And then after the match, it seemed like Sting and Butch Reed were throwing some heavy hands at each other until Sting finally hits him and knocks Reed out of the ring.
It was good brawling. I liked it. It was good, like, heel mad that he lost even though he cheated a million times and, like, couldn't get over it. And so they fought. I was like, fuck, this match was 20 minutes long. You can't have another fight. But they did it briefly. They were rolling around. Sting got into full mount at one point.
Yeah.
Pretty big advantage, you know what I mean? And
sure.
I don't know if you watch fighting, but yeah, they were. It was good. It was good. And then Butch Reed fucked off, got out of there.
Yeah. So next up we have young, mulleted Paul E. Dangerously, and he's here with Randy Rose and Jack Victory for a loser leaves the NWA 6-man tag match, which is the original Midnight Express with Paul E versus the Midnight Express with Jim Cornette. And essentially, Paul Heyman has to cover for the fact that Dennis Condrey isn't there because Dennis just fucked off and went back to the AWA, and they're like, well, I brought in Jack Victory because guess what? You know Dennis Condrey. You've wrestled Dennis Condrey. You've rode with Dennis Condrey. You don't know shit about Jack Victory. And it's like, well, nobody does. I don't care about Jack Victory.
I gotta admit, I bought this. I didn't know the Dennis Condrey thing, so I was like, oh shit, they did it at like a little weird angle to this, you know. But then I assumed, oh, they don't want they don't want Dennis Condrey to have to leave the NWA if he loses his match, so they got him out of the match, you know.
Well, Dennis didn't want to leave the NWA by losing the match,
yeah.
So he was like, I'm out of here, and they and then Cornette with I don't know, the current Midnight Express, I guess, also cuts a pretty good promo, and they're like, yeah, we knew Dennis Condrey, but we don't care, like, we want to stay, and you think that you could, you know, pull a double cross on us, we're gonna kick your ass.
Yeah, but Cornette played it off pretty well. He was like, we knew Dennis Condrey, we trained for Dennis Condrey, and for you to pull something like this just because you're afraid, like, all that is pretty good promo.
I liked this match quite a bit, and
me too.
But when you watch it, you're like, oh, the Jim Cornette Midnight Express is clearly the better team.
It's so much, it's not even close.
Like, I mean, it's not Randy Rose and Jack Victory's fault. They're not a team. So, you know, if the original Midnight had been the opponents, which was what the plan was, then maybe this is a different thing.
Holy shit. Okay, so Randy Rose. I can't believe this. So I thought they kept saying Randy Rhodes, and I was gonna make the Black Sabbath joke, but I wrote in my thing, Randy Rose looks like he's 60 goddamn years old. He was 33.
Yeah. Look, those are hard years, dude.
Those are hard years, bro. He's a year older than me.
Yeah. Also, I hate to do it to you. Randy Rhodes not in Black Sabbath.
Randy Rhodes wasn't in Black Sabbath? Was he just Ozzy?
He played guitar for Ozzy.
It's the same shit. I don't care. Yeah. Thank you.
He played on Mr. Crowley, dude, and fucking Crazy Train.
That's a sick song, but I don't care what band he was in. Poor guy. Yeah. Didn't he die in a plane crash?
Yes. One of the sillier, I mean, not silly because someone died, but like the whole lead up to that story is like, well, what was the best case scenario you thought would happen? You just found some dude in like the middle of nowhere that had a plane, and they tried to land it on the tour bus, and like you know,
Play stupid games, you know what I mean?
yeah, it's difficult though because Randy Rhoads is a fucking ace guitar player.
He's very good, yeah.
Yeah.
Very good guitar player.
So
Even though I didn't know what band he was in.
I I like this tag team match because we got one in shape guy on each team, and then we got one like thick guy on each team, and I like the symmetry of that. So it's like
Mr. Victory, what's his name?
Jack
Jack Victory.
Victory.
He looks like
Yeah.
he smells bad.
but it's like
and-
Bobby Eaton is maybe the most athletic, doesn't look like he's in shape dude I've ever seen. He just looks like a dude. And then he's like pulling a drop kick off the top rope, and you're Jesus Christ.
Dude, that
Bobby-
drop kick off the top rope was sick. And
Yeah.
honestly, I think Stan Lane should have replaced Lex Luger and had Lex Luger's career.
Yeah, Stan Lane's good, and he's in good shape.
He kind of looks like Lex Luger. I think he could have done it. I think he's better than Lex Luger. Anyway, but the reason that I was pissed that it wasn't Russian Assassin number 2 in the first match is because Russian Assassin number 2. Do you know who Russian Assassin number 2 is?
I don't think I do.
It's Jack Victory. So I thought Jack Victory was in both of these matches.
Right. That's no, that's really funny. No, at the last second they were like, "Shit, we need a guy for this tag match."
Yeah, so I thought they were like, "Fuck it." They got the
Oh.
Russian Assassin number 2 has a fucking mask on. They won't know it's the same guy.
Yeah,
So,
that's there's a funny story of Mick Foley working 2 matches on one show, one time under a mask, and he's like, "They're gonna know it's me." He's like, "No, you put a mask on me, I still look like me."
I'm still all hunched over and fucking weird.
Yeah, and the promoter guy's like, "But Jack, you're gonna be under a mask." And he's like, "Oh, okay."
It's like Face Off.
Yeah, it's this one goes to 11. Then, huh?
Yeah.
How about that? So the whole story of this match is Jim Cornette wants to get revenge on Paulie for attacking him and busting him open with his big giant cell phone. So at the end of the match, they force a tag to Paulie, and then Cornette comes in, and the crowd is like, again, ravenous to see Cornette beat up Paulie dangerously. Like they're super into this.
And Paul was doing a great job when he wasn't in the match of riling up the crowd. They hated Paulie dangerously.
Yeah.
He just kept turning around and yelling, "Shut the hell up!" to people in the crowd, and they were booing him. They were chanting "Paul E sucks" or "Dangerously sucks" or something like that.
Yeah.
Paul E sucks. And yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Jim Cornette be like a fucking baby face. Everybody loves him. Super stoked for him to be in there. The last time everybody loved Jim Cornette.
Yeah, a full white meat babyface, Jim Cornette. The end of this match, Midnight Express hit the flapjack on Randy Rose and then get the pin on him in 15 minutes, 51 seconds. This gets 3 1/4 stars, and Randy Rose is gone from the NWA. And again, apparently Jim Herd hated the Midnight Express. Only people that he hated worse than the Midnight Express, the original Midnight Express. So
these guys started a tag team called the Original Midnight Express because they had Dennis Condrey.
yeah, so Randy Rose. Well, Randy Rose was in a version of the Midnight Express, I believe, with Dennis Condrey before Bobby Eaton joined.
Oh,
And-
okay. So that makes
Yeah,
more sense.
And
I
they
thought
were doing
just
it
being trolls.
They were doing it in the AWA with Paul E managing them, and then Cornette came up with the idea of doing original versus new Midnight Express storyline, and that's why they came in for this. But the loser leaves town match wasn't originally the plan. That was like a stipulation that was added at the last second.
They did a really good job of getting the managers in, like teasing it, because at first, like, Cornette wants Paulie in. Cornette's in the ring, and they send in, was it Randy Rose first?
Yeah.
And then Cornette just runs and tags in. And then later on, Cornette comes in and he's trying to get Paul, and he runs and Paul doesn't tag in, but he runs and still attacks Paul anyway. He's the legal man. And I think Randy Rose comes in and just beats the shit out of Cornette, and then tags Paul E. And Paul E. comes in and kicks Cornette a bunch of times. Cornette finally gets out, like, but with a rolling tag, which was pretty sick. And then eventually they both get in at the same time. Like I think Bobby Eaton gets a hold of Paul E. when Paul E's the legal man, and then beats him up a little bit, and then tags in Cornette, and Cornette gets in. And Cornette, I gotta admit, throws really good worked punches.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know how worked the punches were.
They looked very similar. I mean, obviously Bobby Eaton throws better ones and Stan Lane, but you know how you throw the punch kind of to the neck?
Yeah.
They looked very similar to that. They weren't as good, and at least one of them missed by like a foot, you know, but
Yeah.
he looked like he was throwing, like, they were believable wrestling punches. Like, I don't know if he was actually cracking him or not, but they were. I was impressed with, and Cornette bumped pretty well too.
Yeah, he takes good bumps, and they kept it short with the managers and mostly let the wrestlers tell the story, which is the good thing. And you could get real heat by having, Jack Victory or Randy Rose do offense on Jim Cornette, because people are like, that's not fair. Jim Cornette's not a wrestler.
Yeah, he's a mama's boy.
Yeah, you build the sympathy for him that way. And then at the end, of course, you give people what they want, but they don't want to get rid of Paul E. And so they have Randy Rose take the fall.
So it was the guy who, I thought the whole team had to leave. So the guy who took the fall, it was the
Just
only
the guy
person
that
who
gets pinned, yeah.
Oh, Randy Rose was the sacrificial lamb. Do you know what he did after this?
I believe he went back to the AWA. But Heyman sticks around and actually pairs up with some other teams later in the year.
So I know that Cornette and Paul E. had a singles match.
Yes.
And I thought that was this, because I didn't know, like, right at the beginning, I didn't know until they started, like, interviewing the teams that it was a tag team match. So I was like, I remember the story. It was like Jim Cornette had just blown out his knee or something, and like there was like a whole big thing about that. So I was watching for that at first, and I was like, oh shit, this is a whole different match. I'd like to see the actual singles match between the two. I'm sure it's not very good. Like I'd say, I'm complimenting Jim Cornette as a wrestler in this, but it was because he was used sparingly. I'm sure he's not going to have a 5-star match against somebody. You know what I mean?
Right.
Paul E. sucks. By the way.
Got great news for you, Andrew.
Are we watching it?
We'll get to watch that.
Fuck yeah. Okay, cool.
So then we go backstage. Bob Caudle is with Ric Flair and his advisor, Hiro Matsuda. And Flair says he's the best thing going today and calls himself the Golden Stallion. And then he tells Steamboat that it's gut check time. And then in the midst of his promo, he says Chicago's going to be on fire tonight. Like, all right, man. maybe don't reference the greatest tragedy in the city's history for your wrestling
It's
promo.
been a while, right? I am Ric Flair, man. I'm starting to get it, man.
Yeah, it's begrudgingly, he's pretty good.
He might be up there with Spike Dudley.
It's pretty good.
I think he's like, I'm compiling a list of goats, Dusty.
Right.
And the 3 real ones are like Bret Hart, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair, right?
Sure.
But
Spike Dudley.
Spike, I mean, he's captured the hearts of millions, but we've talked. So Ric Flair was 40 at this time.
Yeah.
I want to see 30-year-old Ric Flair. Does that footage exist?
Yes. We could see.
I want to see like prime Ric Flair, you know?
This is it, actually.
Really?
89, he has a crazy run. I mean, he's got 4 5-star matches in 1989 that we're going to watch.
Well, I would like to see young guy Ric Flair, though, you know?
Yeah. Young guy Ric Flair kind of looks weird, like real young Ric Flair.
Does he have the alfalfa weird part haircut?
No, his face, like, he's more bulky. Like, his face looks different.
I want to see it. I want to see
it. Next up, we got your friend and mine, personal favorite, one of the goats, Dogface Gremlin, Rick Steiner.
Oh, man.
Who is the television champion, taking on Mike Rotunda of the Varsity Club, also known as IRS, also known as Bray Wyatt's dad. So
Hey, Bo Dallas's dad, watch your mouth.
also Bo Dallas is dead. So Rick Steiner was sort of the aloof uh, friend of the Varsity Club whenever he first came into the NWA because he has a legit wrestling background. He was part of their team, and then they kicked him out, and so now
Why are you
he's
gonna kick Rick Steiner, fucking motherfucker? What are all these people getting rid of Rick Steiner for? Biggest mistake of their lives.
um at the beginning there is some sort of like weird schmutz on the camera that
The whole I'm wondering, and I'm glad you brought this up. I'm wondering if NWA intentionally put some blood on their camera lenses, because there are multiple camera angles
Yeah.
throughout this whole show that have little blood specks on them. And then when they show the Ricky Steamboat versus Ric Flair kind of brawl where he's taking all of Ric Flair's clothes off before the match, right?
yeah.
There's blood on that camera lens. I'm wondering if, to like pump up the realness a little bit, they had somebody like every once in a while sprinkle a little blood on the camera lens.
I think it might just be their matches had a lot of blood.
I'm a conspiracy theorist, Dusty.
Yeah. You're trying to get to the bottom of it.
I bet it's true.
I'm
I'm gonna write the corny drive-through and see what they say.
This is also like kooky Rick Steiner. Like every once in a while, he'll look like he sees like a moth.
Yeah, he's
or
like
something.
swatting imaginary flies.
Yeah,
Did you see they cut to the guy in the crowd that did it too?
yeah,
They cut to the guy in the they cut to a guy in the crowd who looks like the guy who runs the Jiffy Lube, and he's wearing a Michigan shirt, and he's barking, and then he just starts swatting flies above his head.
But Steiner is over. He's a huge babyface.
Yeah,
here.
the crowd loves him.
And him and Rotunda have like a really good sort of amateur style wrestling match, and they work it really well to the point where like whenever Rick Steiner finally hits a Steiner line on Rotunda, the crowd pops huge.
Yeah.
And like I enjoyed a lot of the psychology in this match where it seemed like they were really trying to show who's the better amateur athlete and then work in like the pro wrestling moves.
Completely agree.
Yeah, and I enjoyed a lot of that. So then we got young acid wash jeans mulleted Scott Steiner on the outside watching his brother's back here.
Yeah, and there's a part where they're doing the abdominal stretch,
Yeah.
and Mike Rotunda is cheating because everybody cheats in this goddamn organization,
Yep.
and the referee. So there's an angle where Scott Steiner is like basically your point of view, like he is right in front of the camera. You see the back of his head watching what's going on. Right up against the ropes, it's the same ropes that were there they're in the abdominal stretch, and Mike Rotunda is. It's an abdominal stretch that this is happening, right? And Mike Rotunda's cheating, and the referee keeps Scott Steiner will be like, he's grabbing the ropes, and the referee will like come out from behind the action and be like, what? And he'll start looking, and then he'll look at Mike Rotunda and go, were you grabbing the ropes? And Mike Rotunda will be like, no. So he goes right back to where he was, to where he can't see Mike Rotunda grabbing the ropes anymore. It happened like 4 times.
It's they used to say like the referee has to call whatever he sees, so he has to put himself in situations where he can't see what's happening. But then it looks silly.
It looks silly
occasionally.
because he keeps doing it. Like
Yeah.
if he keeps telling you that he's cheating, just stand a foot to the left. You'll be able to see what you're looking at, and you'll be able to see if he's cheating.
Yeah, like turn towards the back so you can see the ropes and both wrestlers at the same time.
You don't have to look at Rick Steiner's back. There's no reason to.
It's like whenever you get like a neck cramp and you can only move your neck, like the range of motion's more limited than normal.
I
You're
kept
like,
thinking. I kept relating it to. It must have been the wind. NPCs in video games that like.
Yeah.
Like you make a noise and they're like, "What the fuck is that?" And they go look for a little bit and then they just go right back to what they were doing.
Yeah, or like I used to play this Batman Arkham Asylum game, and they're like stealth missions. And sometimes if you didn't do something stealthily enough, you have to go hide in the rafters for a while, and then they'll just forget the goddamn Batman is there. It's like, all right, well, he probably went home. He got bored, and then I swooped down.
Yeah.
Vengeance.
Thwarted.
Yeah. So Steiner then gets attacked by Kevin Sullivan, who comes out to distract, and he gets busted open somewhere in the middle of this, just on the corner of his eye. But then he gets back in the ring.
No, I don't think Kevin Sullivan doesn't attack him, does he?
Or no, I guess Rotunda attacks him.
No, Kevin Sullivan comes out, so they're wrestling, and then Kevin Sullivan is just now he wasn't, nobody had even mentioned him at all. He hasn't shown up or anything. He's just now right next to the ring with a microphone, and he goes, Steiner!
No. Yeah.
It's a mighty nice dog you got that back there. And then he fucking walks away.
Yeah.
So Scott's like, Rick's like, he gets out of the ring and he starts walking towards Sullivan, and the referee starts counting him out. And so Rick Steiner, because he's an adorable, innocent little boy, is like looking at the referee and he keeps going, my dog. Like he's
throwing my dog
back there.
Yeah.
And so he begrudgingly gets back into the ring, and he's like obviously distracted. Like he's not even fighting back. Mike Rotunda's just beating the shit out of him, like throwing him against the ropes and shit. And he's just like looking off into the middle distance because he's just thinking about his dog getting fucking assaulted by Kevin Sullivan in the back. But it's very clear what you do. If you have to finish the match, that's fine. Your brother Scott
send Scott
is right there. Just send Scott. Hey Scott, go check on my dog while I fight Mike Rotunda.
Well, probably our dog. Go check on our dog.
Yeah, very much so.
You know. So the end of this match, Steiner eventually fights back, slaps on a sleeper, and then falls to his back. So he's got both hooks in on Rotunda, but he's laying on his back, and the ref counts the shoulders of Rick Steiner down while Mike Rotunda is essentially passed out, and awards Mike Rotunda the world television title in 16 minutes 21 seconds. And this got a 1.5 stars. A bizarre finish to this match. I mean, I guess you don't want to beat Rick Steiner straight up, but it's a weird thing to have him look stupid by getting pinned by himself. So,
well, he was distracted, Dusty.
Right. His dog.
His little doggy boy. Yeah, because we've seen this finish before, and I'm sure it hasn't been done a million times, but it's been done before where somebody's got somebody in a submission, but their shoulders are on the ground and they get pinned while they have the other person in the submission. You know?
Yeah.
It's always kind of flaccid when that happens because the crowd doesn't exactly know what's happening.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was weird. It was a fun match. I love the Dogface Gremlin. Fuck Kevin Sullivan. It's on site with him. All my homies hate Kevin Sullivan, and
fuck you and the clique you claim.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the sickle cell line, but there's words in that I can't say.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love Rick Steiner to death, and it hurt me to see him wronged like this. I hope the dog's fine. The dog's dead now. I mean, this is 30 years ago, but
sure.
I hope the dog lived a long, happy life.
That's something that I heard one time. I don't know if you know the Sweater Song music video that Weezer did, where there's all the dogs running around.
All those dogs are dead now.
Yeah, and somebody was just like, "Oh man, I bet all those dogs are dead." And I was like, I didn't need to know that. I guess I know it intellectually if I think about it, but I don't want to know it.
My brother said this before, and this happens to me. This exact same thing happens to me. Anytime I'm watching a movie and I see a dog, and the movie's over 10 years old, I'm like, man, that dog is for sure dead now. That sucks.
Yeah, cat, it's long dead though. all the animals from Homeward Bound.
Oh man, that sucks, bro. Comet
Shadow
from Full House. Oh.
Yeah. So now the Road Warriors cut a promo on the Varsity Club. I like this Road Warriors look. The black, like the spikes, the shoulder pads with the spikes are obviously dope no matter what.
Yeah.
But the black ones with the chains, as opposed to the red, more cartoony looking ones that they wore in WWF, it just looks cooler. To me, it looks more like Mad Max shit. You know?
Yeah, I like it. I like it a lot. They're just badass, bro. They're the fucking Road Warriors.
Yeah, they and then we get Barry Windham versus Lex Luger. So Barry Windham is now a part of the Four Horsemen, but Luger had been in the Four Horsemen. He got kicked out at the end of 1987, and then teamed up with Barry Windham and won the World Tag Team titles. And then like 2 weeks later, Barry Windham turned on him and kicked the shit out of him and joined the Four Horsemen. So this
The
is
Horsemen, bro. They're just cowardice. They're always
Yeah.
there's always something going on with the Horsemen. They're always turning on somebody.
They're up to no good. Habitual line steppers.
That's what happens when you hang out with Arn Anderson. But we got Wyndham and Rotunda.
That is true. Yeah.
Very interesting.
Follow the buzzards. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I like this match. Thought this was a good match. Barry Windham is still pretty much in his prime here. He looks good. And they're working like a pretty fast, high impact style, especially considering some of the other stuff that we saw earlier, which is a lot more like rest holds, and the spots are farther, like fewer and farther between. I like that in this match. I did not remember this, but apparently Barry Windham was using the claw as a setup move for a while.
Mhm.
So they do a thing where on the floor, Windham misses Luger and hits his hand on the post. And so most of this match, he's selling his hand as being injured. And he's like, my claw hand.
Not my claw hand.
Jeez, damn it, man. This one had a glove on it for a reason.
I know. Yeah, he's got one glove on. It's for the claw. What?
Yeah.
Why do you need to glove the claw?
It helps for dexterity, you know. It's like Barry Windham can pull off one glove. Like Dave Grohl's the only dude I've ever seen who wears drum gloves and looks cool while he plays drums. Like it's
Fuck
so,
yeah, dude.
Like he's got full on, like I hate to bring him back up, but like full on OJ gloves when he plays drums, and he still looks cool.
I can't drum without my isotoners.
How long have I been on you? Since Dave Grohl used isotoners. Also, of course, Luger here is like jacked to the gills. He looks great. He is huge over as a babyface here. Wyndham does get the claw, but the commentators are like, his hand is hurt, so he's probably only at like 70% claw strength.
Yeah, this could be a half claw.
Yeah. What an odd thing in commentary to be like, I bet that hitting that post brought it down about 25-30%. There's natural natural fatigue in the match. That's probably another 5% claw damage taken away.
Let's go to Fritz von Erich. Yeah, Dan, that's definitely at least a 25%er. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's hurting both guys, but the claw doesn't feel good no matter how many percent you put on it. But I don't see him getting a finish with this, pal.
Yeah. Back to you. Thanks, Fritz.
Thanks, Fritz.
So then, like, Lex Luger flexes out of the claw. Like, he flexes his head, and Barry Windham's like, God damn it, my hand.
Like Red in Pineapple Express.
Yeah.
I'm a flex and bust out of this.
Or famously like The Rock in Fast and Furious 6 when he says Daddy has to go to work and flexes the cast that's on his arm and breaks it off.
I haven't seen that, but fuck yeah.
Yeah, dude. Wyndham hits a superplex, which looked really good for a near fall, and the crowd bought that. And then immediately Luger hits a back suplex and gets the pin out of nowhere to become the new United States champion. 10 minutes, 43 seconds. This gets 3 3/4 stars. And then immediately Wyndham's on him. Again, after the bell.
Yeah.
It's like, shit don't stop just because the bell rang.
I don't stop the beef.
No. And he hits a nasty looking pallet driver.
Yeah.
To Luger on the belt.
Pilot driver.
Pallet driver. And is like, all right. And then he just leaves. and Luger.
I hit my move.
Yeah, and the referee is like, I don't know what all that shit's about, but Lex Luger's still the champ, and so he just like awards the belt to Luger. But I like this match. I thought it was good. It was quite a lot quicker. I don't know why Sting versus Butch Reed gets 20 minutes and Luger versus Wyndham only gets 10, but split the difference. I guess.
Sting versus Butch Reed got that long because Magnum TA wanted to say Orientals 15 times.
Yeah.
He kept saying it. This was before it was like taboo. But
right.
Well, as far as I know, I don't know.
Really.
I don't know. I don't know if it was taboo or not because I mean, Hiro Matsuda literally was the man from the Orient, right? Is that what they called him?
Yeah. Also, Chinaman is not the preferred nomenclature, dude.
Yeah, that's true. I don't know when it became because it's their call. Like whenever they decided that it was a bad thing to say, if it was from the get go, I didn't know that, but I don't say it now. I actually corrected somebody the other day. They got mad at me.
I think it's probably always been not their favorite.
Well, most things start as most things, not all of them. There's certain words that we could bring up that have never been this, but most things start as what you call them. But then the white guys started using it as a pejorative term, like you know what I mean? To like they started saying it wrong and started being like, Orientals instead of like there's an Oriental guy over there,
Right.
But I don't know. Whenever they decided, hey, this isn't good, that's when I decide, hey, that's not good. Don't say that.
Right. It still sounds weird to my ears no matter what because we don't say it now.
Yeah.
But I have to make a note of it, especially whenever you're adding additional descriptors because it's never just like, and from the Orient, Hiro Matsuda. It's always the evil Oriental Hiro Matsuda, which puts a different stank on it for sure.
Well, yeah, because that's actually a good point because Magnum TA just kept going. Those Orientals, they know ways to really hurt you. And like every time Butch Reed would cheat or Hiro Matsuda would fuck Sting up in the corner or something.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh man, those Orientals, they always figure out the ways. They got a lot of pressure points.
Yeah, that's they're mysterious also. Yeah.
They scare me.
I saw what I believe to be a documentary where they sold a gremlin to a child. Well, they thought it was a mogwai, and then they gave him rules, and man, they didn't follow those rules.
Man, you feed that son of a bitch after midnight. Oh boy.
He's out front. The sprinklers go off. Now you got gremlins. Is that how you want gremlins? So next up is for the World Tag Team titles. We got the Varsity Club of Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Kevin Sullivan versus the Road Warriors. And of course, this is the in parentheses hometown of the Road Warriors, Chicago. So they are over huge.
I'd say in quotations, right?
Yes, in quotations. Yeah.
Sorry.
What did I say? Parentheses?
Parentheses, yeah.
No. Well, in either case, however you wanted to note it, that's not where they're from.
It is the quote-unquote hometown.
Yeah.
They're from Minnesota, right?
Yes.
Minnesota, the Road Warriors. I don't do a Minnesota accent. I can only say Minnesota in a Minnesotan accent. Sorry.
You're Hawk, eh?
Yeah. What's that all about?
Yeah. Oh, gosh, it's Animal.
Oh, God.
What a strong fella he is.
Oh man, they cut me like cheese.
Yeah. What do they say in Fargo? Is that your associate in the wood chipper? So it's just
I haven't seen Fargo.
Oh, okay.
That's one of the big ones I haven't seen.
There's a part where a guy's in a wood chipper and he goes, Is that your associate in the wood chipper over there?
Oh god. Oh god, that's not good.
No.
No.
So Sarah was mostly impressed. Like when you see the Road Warriors, you're like, man, what a stunning visual. What a striking puppet that they make. Sarah was most impressed by going, man, they walked around with those haircuts all the time. And I was like,
did you notice that they were the inverse of each other?
Yeah, it was like kayfabe was real, man. I don't know what to tell you.
They're only allowed one full haircut, so one of them got a mohawk and the other one got an opposite mohawk.
And what are you gonna tell Animal that he can't have an opposite mohawk if he wants?
Dude, Animal looks rad, bro.
Yeah. And they start the match and it's Animal versus Dr. Death, which is a fucking Haas, two big O dudes battle for the ages.
Force versus unmovable object or whatever it is.
Yeah,
I gotta give respect though. We've got Dr. Death and we've got Michael Hayes on the same show. No Terry Gordy.
We're 2/3 of a Freebird.
Where's Terry Gordy?
Well, you told me not to tell you too much.
Oh, okay.
So.
Okay. Okay.
Actually, Dr. Death's not in the Freebirds. So
Yeah, but didn't Doctor
but-
Death wasn't he in a tag team with Terry Gordy later on?
yeah, the
That's what
Miracle
I'm talking
Violence
about, like-
collection, dog.
I'm talking about like his like Terry Gordy's like guys.
Yeah, his
are all in this
homeboys.
match. There's just no
Yeah.
Terry Gordy.
So the big thing here is that the Varsity Club are like formidable for the Road Warriors, and that's a new thing for the Road Warriors. They keep selling like no team has ever done to the Road Warriors what the Varsity Club had, because they attacked Animal and had injured his arm. So then on the floor, Sullivan uses the chair on Animal's arm to make him be the Road Warrior in peril in this match. But it's still difficult to imagine even somebody like Dr. Death beating up Animal.
Animal
You're
doesn't
just
feel
like-
pain.
No, they're fucking huge, dude. The Road are so, and Kevin Sullivan's a great wrestler. He's a great heel, but it's like Dr. Death, the Road Warriors, and then Kevin Sullivan. And like, who do you think's taking the pin in this match? The dude whose nickname is Dr. Death or Kevin Sullivan? Dr. Death is both a Billy Mays and Bob Vila looking motherfucker.
That is true. That is
Yeah, he looks like during the week he's is in charge of this old house.
I was gonna make
But,
fucking this old house, bro.
yeah,
Anytime it's probably a fine show, but I actually watched some of it with my dad on the weekends. Boring as shit when I was a kid, though.
yeah,
Dad,
that was one
you
where I
fix
was
the
like,
house. I live in the house.
yeah, it was one where it was like, if that's all that's left to watch, things are a dire situation. Like, it's raining outside, I can't go outside. I only have regular TV. There's nothing on. I gotta watch this old house. can't do it. I'd read a book, I guess. Gross.
Yeah, but then you're all into it later on. You're like, oh, is that real hardwood?
Yeah, now I watch HGTV and I'm like, no, dude, you can't replace your own water heater. You need to call a guy to do that.
I don't like the trim on that.
Yeah, I watched one the other day because Sarah legit loves HGTV. We were watching one
fun
where
sometimes.
these people tried to renovate their own house, which I guess good for them, but they had to stop halfway through. And the show is they get rescued by a professional, and the professional person was like, "Were you trying to knock this wall down?" And they're like, "Yeah." It's like, you realize that's a load bearing wall, right? And the people were like, had no idea what a load bearing wall was, or how to test to make sure that they weren't just going to knock over their whole goddamn house because they were trying to get an open kitchen concept. Like, come on, man. Even I know about the load bearing wall, and I don't know shit about home improvement.
Dude, you there's a couple things you spring for, right? Fast pass
Yeah.
and the guy to knock walls down in your house.
And a guy. Call a guy.
Call a guy.
Like, I am at the point in my life, like you talked about with your the roller coaster thing. Like, I'll call a guy. I have no hubris now to be like, well, let me see if I could. Nope, that is not a thing I know how to do. I know how to do other stuff. I don't know how to do that. So all I'm gonna do is screw that up, and then I'm gonna have to call this guy anyway.
Yeah.
Let's just
And he's
jump.
gonna laugh at me.
Right. Let's just jump to me calling the guy. That's the end game here. So the heels work over the shoulder of Animal, who is, quote, the strong man of the Road Warriors, which in a shoot is true. Animal apparently is like one of the strongest motherfuckers, like in wrestling. But Hawk, it's not as though Hawk is not a gigantic, strong man.
Yeah,
you know?
man. Hawk is terrifying.
Yeah, like it's not as though it's Animal capitals Hawk all lowercase. Like
I know.
both of those dudes would rip me in half.
I'm gonna be locked in a cage with a road warrior. Oh, thank God, it's Hawk.
Right. So I was really betting on Hawk.
Man, it's so glad it's Hawk.
So then there's a big schmoz, and Dr. Death ends up pinning Animal while Hawk comes off the top rope with a flying clothesline to Sullivan, who is the legal man, and pins Sullivan for the Road Warriors to retain 8 minutes 27 seconds. This gets 2.25 stars. I thought this was a really good match. I enjoyed this, and I thought the finish was like it was a unique finish because you see they've got the visual on Dr. Death pinning the Road Warrior Animal, but Hawk gets the pin on Sullivan. And so the Varsity Club have what they consider to be a legit gripe, but the Road Warriors legitimately won.
Yeah, and it's a good finish just because of all that you just mentioned, but it's still tough for the viewing public, especially in the building when you don't have announcers.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to track who the legal man is. So like anytime there's a little bit of confusion in the finish, it kind of adds a little bit of flaccidity to the crowd, but it's the Road Warriors, so everybody's still screaming no matter what. As soon as you hand them the belts, everybody's stoked.
Well, yeah, and I'm never watching the match at the end. Like, I'm aware of the concept of the legal man, but I'm never watching it at the end going, oh, man, I hope that's the right Uso that they're pinning. I'm just like, I figure they know.
Oh, I'm never doing that because I can't tell them apart. I don't know which Uso was which. Which one is with Naomi? That's the one I want to fight.
To the death.
To the death. For her hand.
We go backstage to Lex Luger, who's kind of he's like almost in Three Stooges bandages. Like he's got a bandage around his head, he's got one around his neck, and he's talking very calmly, very softly.
He's like, yeah, man, I don't know, I jammed my neck. Fuck.
Yeah, so that match sucked. It was really where he's like, it sucked to be a part of. Barry Windham's tough as shit. It jammed my neck, got some stitches, but hey, I'm the U.S. champ, so there's that.
Yay me.
Yeah, I'm also from Chicago, but no one cares because I'm not a Road Warrior.
It's Luger time.
Yeah, this is me time, baby. So now we get to the main event. Also a sticking point for the NWA. This pay-per-view coming in under a cool 2 hours and 20 minutes. So 7 matches. They're in. They're out. They're doing their thing.
And it's funny too because it's short-ish, right?
Yeah.
Let's make it 2 hours. Let's make it 2 hours, guys. Let's have a conversation to make this 2 hours. You know how we can do that? Sting and Butch Reed, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Mike Rotunda and Rick Steiner. I love you, Ricky. 12 minutes, right?
Yeah.
That is
Russian Assassin number 2. You're gonna have to get DDT'd about 9 minutes into this match.
I thank you. 9 minutes was my number. That is like we just took like fucking 20 minutes off of this fucking show, you know?
Well, what's funny is I think the NWA or WCW at the time, they only had 2-hour VHS tapes. So the VHS tape of this show, I think, is probably 2 hours.
Oh, I wonder what they probably just cut certain matches, like cut parts of matches out
or whatever. Yeah.
I did notice, and I wanted to ask you about this. I noticed in the first at least 2 matches, they counted out the time, like 5 minutes have elapsed or whatever over the.
Oh yeah.
So are there time limits on those matches?
I think that every standard match is supposed to be like a 20-minute time limit.
Okay.
But it's a worked time limit.
Yeah.
So, because Butch Reed, they're not going to have Butch Reed and Sting go to a draw because it went over 8 seconds. That
would have been so annoying.
Yeah. So we're on to the main event, which is World Champ Ric Flair versus Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. We get a video highlight of the feud so far, which is Steamboat returned to the NWA the beginning of 1989, and he's a secret partner for Eddie Gilbert. And he ends up pinning Ric Flair in that match with the flying body press. And so now he's the number 1 contender. And they show a promo from the Clash of Champions a few days before this pay-per-view where Flair is in the ring with a bunch of girls and Steamboat's in the ring. And Flair says, take a look at what a loser looks like. Why don't you go home and help the missus with the dishes? I'm going downtown.
I'm going downtown.
And
Brian Greasy.
Yeah, because I believe Steamboat was like, look, we're not the same. You're out here chasing women and money and fame. I love my family. I just want to be world champ. And the Flair line, help the missus with the dishes isn't what gets it for me. It's I'm going downtown. Yeah. Like, that's so funny to me that he's like, that's true. I am going out to party. Guess what? right fucking now.
Yeah.
I'm the world champ. And then Steamboat fires up, and they have like a pretty good fight where they end up tearing Flair's suit off, and he's just down to his jockeys, as Jim Ross says. And then he ends up hitting the body press again, and the crowd counts the 3 count, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Before Wyndham jumps in, and him and Flair and Wyndham beat up Steamboat at the end of that. So at this point, Ric Flair has been world champion for 453 days.
Oh shit. Okay.
So he won the title at Starrcade 87 or 452 days. So a long title reign. And
Who'd he beat? Do you know?
Rugged Ronnie Garvin.
Oh yeah, they mentioned that. Okay. Yeah.
Who had just won the belt so that they could then have the Starrcade rematch. Build the match for Starrcade.
Hell yeah.
This is a 5-star match, Andrew. What do you think of Ricky Steamboat versus Ric Flair?
Fucking, you know what I mean? No, it was so good, dude. The pacing was awesome. Like the beginning was just bat out of hell, but not like out of control, but like fast paced. Steamboat was very clearly, and this is one thing that I've seen in a lot of Ric Flair matches, and I think it's perfect for like kind of the heel thing. Steamboat looked like the better wrestler. Like he was getting the best of the exchanges. Flair was bumping all over the place because he's the goddamn goat, and like they were chopping each other. Like he would chop Flair in the chest, and Flair would fall through the ropes onto the outside. And a lot of near falls, a lot of believable near falls. The crowd was loving it like crazy. And then at one point, it seemed like whether work or shoot, I'm sure they were tired, but they both kind of settled in and got a little tired, so they were starting to be a little labored in what they were doing, and the match slowed down. And like, I don't know, I thought this was a wonderful match. This was awesome.
Yeah, and I really enjoyed, like, there's a lot of subtle things where it's like Flair chops the shit out of Steamboat in this match.
Yeah.
But whenever Flair chops him, Steamboat sells, and he's in the corner, and it goes through his body, and he sells it. But Flair's the only one taking bumps off of the chops. Like,
yes.
So whenever Steamboat comes back and he's chopping him back, then Flair will take a full back bump.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, again, it sells to you the idea that like Steamboat has this advantage, and he can get the best of Flair.
And Flair's a little frustrated by it. Like, Flair would chop him really hard. Steamboat would chop him back. Flair would bump and get up like frustrated, like or be like, "Hey, like what are you doing?" Like mad at him. It was good. There was a little bit of desperation in Flair, which there is a lot. That's part of his character. Like when he starts to like lose a little bit. Flair cheated, but he didn't cheat a lot. Like, you know, we saw egregious cheating throughout this show, but I can think of 2 times when Flair cheats in this match. He gets him in a figure 4 and is grabbing the rope, but he's like grabbing the rope and watching the referee, and the referee keeps looking over, and Flair would let go right as the referee started to look over, and then grab the rope again and let go, and then one time he gets caught, and that's how they get Steamboat out of the figure 4.
Yeah.
And then later on, Flair's pinning Steamboat, and I posted a picture of this, and the referee is counting, and the angle is from the side, so you see laterally across your screen Flair like planking, and his feet are on the ropes, and he's pinning Steamboat, and you can see under Flair, you see the referee counting and looking at Steamboat. Flair is right in front of him with his legs on the ropes. It was a really bad one, and it happened like it took a while. Like it was not like a. It was
like 3 times in a row he tried to use the ropes to pin. Well, and that's the funny thing about Flair is like the fans would like Flair, except he's not looking to cheat all the time. He's just looking to cheat when it's convenient. Like
he looks to cheat to win. He's not addicted to cheating like Butch Reed is. He's just trying to be skeezy to figure out any way to win this, even if he has to be illegitimate about it.
Right. He just wants to win, and maybe he could beat Steamboat straight up, but why not cheat and get it done quicker if he can?
Anything to stay on top.
Yeah,
That seems to be it. Is like anything to stay on top.
yeah, and I enjoyed the figure four spot because again, like they had good rhythm with
Yeah.
the like Flair's cheating, but you can believe that the ref wasn't able to catch him because Flair isn't doing he's not absent-minded about it. He's watching the referee. And during the figure four spot, you could the crowd starts chanting for Ricky Steamboat. Like
Yeah.
and Steamboat wasn't a top babyface when he had left the NWA like 6 years before. He was a middle card babyface. He'd been a tag champion, he'd been the US champion, but he wasn't in the main events.
Yeah.
But somehow he comes back and he's immediately red hot in this feud with Flair, and the crowd wants Ricky Steamboat to win this match.
Yeah, they were really cheering for him, and Steamboat did the thing. This always works, and you can't do it like this anymore because he was slamming his hand on the ground.
Yeah.
That would be a tap out now, but he was slamming it in rhythm, and slowly the crowd started clapping with the rhythm, and like just those little subtle things that get the crowd going is just like, I don't know, this match. I knew this was a 5-star match going into it. I knew it was long. I didn't know who won, and I enjoyed every second of it.
Now, Ricky Steamboat in his comeback comes off the top with a flying karate chop.
Yeah,
Can I get
hate
a
it.
Can I get a ruling on the karate chop?
Stinks. Flying karate
Still,
chop stinks.
still no good.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't do shit.
He's higher up.
He's
I don't think that you're accounting for higher up.
Listen, having the high ground matters, right? But Flair
Yeah.
sold that like he got shot with a fucking beanbag shotgun. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude, you don't know if Ricky Steamboat's chopped trees till they died, hardened his hand. The Muay Thai techniques.
those strong Hawaiian bamboo trees or whatever.
Yeah.
Chopping
So
coconuts.
I thought he doesn't even have to use a machete. He just uses the flat side of his hand.
You just got to get real high up in the tree first. You got to get higher than the coconut.
The coconut will never see it coming, bro. So the end of this match I thought was great. Steamboat goes for the flying body press and hits it, but in doing so, he wipes Tommy Young out. Tommy Young fucking legit gets wiped out.
Pretty tough bump by Tommy Young, and he's laying on his back and he like spits in the air. It's weird.
Yeah.
But yeah, fucked him up.
And then Flair goes for the figure four. It's reversed, and then Teddy Long jumps in and counts the 3 count for the pin.
And to protect Flair, before he did that, he hurt Steamboat and he pinned him holding his pants.
Yeah.
And the crowd counted 3, but there was no ref.
Yeah.
So it protects Flair a little bit, and then he goes for the figure 4, it gets reversed. Another ref comes in, counts it 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, and then Tommy Young, who's in a bad way, accidentally gets kicked by Ric Flair after Flair gets out of this small package. And you can see Tommy Young kind of look at him and just be like, "Oh, what the fuck, dude?"
I didn't see that. That's funny.
Yeah, he kicks him, and then Tommy Young rolls out of the ring because he's fucked up. And so then we immediately go backstage, and the babyfaces are all celebrating, including a more pumped than Ricky Steamboat, Michael Hayes, who's like, "You did it, Ricky! You fucking did it, bro!" He's more excited than Ricky Steamboat.
Michael Hayes is just enjoying being a babyface for once in his goddamn life.
He's the guy that you want. He's both the guy you want and the guy you don't want in your party entourage.
Well, you definitely want him on your team, yeah.
Right. But like he's the dude that will both get you hyped up for going out at like 8, but then when you're like, "Michael, it's 3:00, we gotta go," he's like, "No, bro, I know another spot." Like
the party's just starting.
Yeah,
he's the guy that will back you up in a fight, but he's also the guy who starts a fight at some point.
Right. Yeah. He's a real wild card.
Over a beer pong game or something.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're an adult, stop playing beer pong. Yeah.
Also, he's purely sexy. So please.
He definitely is purely sexy. The funniest thing about this whole thing for me, and I don't know if Steamboat knew this before, but you could slowly, like while they're trying to interview Steamboat and they're like calling for a speech, you can start to see him realize how much it burns like shit to have champagne in your eyes.
Yeah, he's like trying to catch his breath because he's just wrestled almost a 30-minute match.
Yeah.
And he just downed a bunch of champagne like quick, and they poured a bunch of it on him. So he's like, you can tell he's like trying to talk, but he's like, God damn, this burns, dude.
There's a reason that you see like teams celebrating now wear snowboarding goggles,
Yeah.
because champagne in your eyes apparently burns terribly. So like he kind of played it off, and the guy interviewing him, I can't remember his name. You said his name earlier.
That's Bob Cottle.
Bob Cottle. He kind of played it off like, oh, are you emotional? Are you lost for words? When Steamboat should have been like, no, this just fucking hurts really bad. But
Yeah.
Steamboat tried to play it off his emotion a little bit, but you could tell
Yeah.
that the champagne was really bothering him in his eyes.
And he's like, you know,
It
I'm
was his
happy.
big moment.
Yeah, he's like, you know, I'm elated. I won the world title. I'm not going to be a closet champion. Ric Flair can have the first rematch. I did this for my family, and I can't wait to go show them the belt. And the whole time you just hear Michael Hayes in the background just going, woo!
Yeah, Michael Hayes is partying.
Yeah.
Did you guys remember when I beat Russian Assassin #1?
It was all of us.
USA.
All the baby faces. And so that's how the show goes off the air. Flair does the job for Steamboat, puts him over huge. The crowd wanted it. Like, they were so stoked. And I don't know if I said it, Ric Flair gets defeated by Ricky Steamboat, 23 minutes, 18 seconds. This gets the full 5 stars from Meltzer. It's a great match. It's just a really good wrestling match, and not as long as some of their other matches. This is on the short end of the Ricky Steamboat, Ric Flair match times.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. I'm interested to see the other ones.
Yep.
We're definitely gonna be doing some comparing, I'm sure. How many are we gonna watch?
There are 3.
Okay, cool.
The next one is a 2 out of 3 falls match, though.
Oh, good.
That's coming up. But for 1989, NWA, I don't know if you remember. I feel like they fall out of your brain to a certain extent. The WWF and their presentation in 1989, from when we watched those to what the NWA was doing, it's definitely more sports based. It feels like they're selling it. Even at the beginning, Jim Ross and Magnum TA, when they're running down the card, they're treating it like 2 prize fighters, or, you know, the teams are these real athletes that have legitimate backstories and legitimate gripes with each other, but also playing up the athletics.
Yeah, and there's the same. I think that was just an NWA thing, right? Because we saw the same thing when we watched the Dusty Rhodes matches,
Yeah.
and like, I like that a lot. I like the pitting them again, like as 2 athletes, not 2 stories. The stories are inherent. The stories are there. You don't root for the stories. You then root for the athletes to be part of the story, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot now, and a lot in like WWE. You're rooting for the gimmick, right? Kind of. And it's I like the realism of it, even though you still got guys doing fucking axe handles and shit. Like there's still, if you really like get down to brass tacks, there's still unrealistic things about it, but it's still a believable show of guys who are in legitimate athletic competition with each other. And I
like the Ric Flair story is, you know, Ric Flair's this wine and dining, jet flying guy who's taken on a guy who's a family man. That's the storyline. Mm-hmm. But all the things that are happening are within the realm of the athletics. Like, Steamboat's the new guy in town. He beat the champ. Nobody saw that coming. They are opposed outside of the ring, but they respect each other as athletes. And it's just who's the better guy.
Yeah.
And so you could kind of buy into the glitz or the showbiz part of the Ric Flair lives on the big side of town in the big house and all that shit. He's going downtown.
It's Conor McGregor.
Yeah, but at the end, like, they're, you know, they gotta. What's Charlie Murphy say?
There would be a fight after that.
Yeah,
somebody gotta go. I had the same thought right before you even like started to say, "What's that, Charlie?" It's funny, we went to the same thing.
Yeah,
yeah, exactly. And it's. I think it's important to their success at the time. Like, I love. That's why. And that's why when in the Idel Wrestling Federation stuff, when I book the best wrestler in the world thing, that's completely booked just as an athletic competition. because
Yeah.
that's my favorite kind of wrestling. Like the other shit is just it's fun because it's a podcast and I have to write something entertaining, right?
Yeah.
But like I love the neither guy wrestles for a little bit because they're getting ready for a big fight and they do a press conference and they're training and all these things to have this legitimate athletic competition to see who's the best. And that's based on this type of stuff, right? And I think that that's AEW does a little bit of that in like, they have the post press conferences and all those things, but WWE starting to do the post press conferences. It's just more kayfabe's dead. So like it's really hard to write that way unless you do it as a rule for the entire company, and neither company is doing that right now.
Yeah.
So like it's
Well, and there's nothing. I mean, there are silly things on this show, but nobody is acting in a silly way.
Yeah.
Like that's the difference to me between the NWA and the WWF at this time. Like the gimmicks aren't gimmicks. It's like everybody's a fucking like tough guy and they're all trying to win. There's no, I know you love it, but like there's no Brutus Beefcakes.
Yeah.
In this situation.
No, I completely agree. I like
Yeah.
I like Brutus Beefcake because it's ridiculous.
Right.
But as a wrestling organization, I really like NWA 100%. At least what I've seen today. We'll continue to watch.
Yeah. So we've got a few more NWA reviews from 89 because 89 is the last year that I think you could buy wrestling as a purely entertaining yet real sport.
Okay.
Because and Cornette's basically the one who's posited that theory, and so he says Flair versus Steamboat is as close as you could get to sports entertainment while still treating it as wrestling. Like it was both. Because I was not bored in the 24 minutes of this Ricky Steamboat Flair match.
No,
like
me neither.
And they're not doing Canadian destroyers and a ton of high spots. It's like everything is spaced out so that you have those oh shit moments. Like there's a part in that match where Flair does a cross body and it takes him and Steamboat both over the top rope and they look like they're both gonna fall on their head on the floor, and they it looks legit. It doesn't look planned. Nobody's waiting around to catch the other guy, I guess is the way to say it. But so we have some more of those upcoming for this week. Our number one movie is from another guy who I'd consider a goat in a different field. It's Tommy Hanks.
Oh shit.
Still in his comedy phase.
Definitely a goat. Definitely a goat, Tommy Hanks.
This is The Burbs.
Big? Oh, The Burbs. I fucking love The Burbs, bro.
It's number one. It cost $18 million to make. It made $49 million.
Who's the other guy in that movie? Not Harry Dean Stanton.
I love like Dragnet with Tom Hanks and Dan Aykroyd.
I said Harry Dean Stanton instead of Bruce Dern, by the way.
Yeah.
Rick Ducommun is his name. God, goddamn, that guy was in a bunch of movies. He's in Spaceballs. He's in Groundhog Day. He's in The Burbs. He's in Scary Movie. He plays the other neighbor that's not a weirdo. Well, he's kind of a weirdo. You know what I'm talking about? Have you seen The Burbs?
It's been a long time.
Okay, but he's great. He's great. He's awesome in The Burbs. But what was the last thing you said before I interrupted you? My bad.
Oh, like I like these weird Tom Hanks 80s movies like Dragnet with Dan Aykroyd. Have you ever seen that?
I watched that as a kid and really enjoyed it. I haven't seen it since.
Yeah, I love that movie. But like this is before he's like Tom Hanks, because Big is really, I think, the Tom Hanks coming out party,
I love Big.
Do you want to try to guess what the highest grossing Tom Hanks movie is?
Yeah, hold on. I want to show you who the Rick Ducommun is, so you can just be like, oh yeah, that guy's good. Hold on, let me see a picture. And let's see. I think this is a picture that'll show you. I know this is an audio podcast. This guy?
Oh yeah, that guy.
Yeah, that guy's fucking great in The Burbs.
Yeah, that guy.
But anyway, okay, shit. I'm not gonna look up his movies.
Okay.
Try to do this without looking up his movies. Polar Express first.
That's not a bad guess.
Okay, I have another one.
Okay.
What was fuck? I had the other one. Oh man. Castaway.
Polar Express is ninth. Castaway is fifth.
Oh god damn. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try to get it. It's definitely not Philadelphia.
You're gonna be mad.
It's a Toy Story movie.
Tis
It's
a
Toy
Story.
Story 2.
No,
Toy Story 1?
No.
Which one is it? 3? Oh, because they came out later. Is it Toy Story 4?
It is Toy Story 4.
God damn!
$434 million.
That's the one I haven't
domestic.
seen.
Yeah. Toy Story 3 made 415. Then it's Forrest Gump.
Oh yeah, Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
What was I thinking? Yeah, it's I think you gotta account for those movies came out later.
Yeah, it skews the list for
yeah.
sure.
I went through all the Toy Stories.
Well, you don't think Toy Story 4 because it didn't, like make a huge cultural impact. No one was really asking for the fourth Toy Story
People
movie.
watched it, and apparently there's like a crying movie. Like I would watch it. I loved all the Toy Story movies, but I didn't see that one.
But they've also got
my good friend Ned Beatty's in Toy Story 3. So
that's true. They've also got like the Simpsons movie listed here because he plays himself very briefly, and it's like
for the EPA, right? I think.
yeah.
EPA.
The Green Mile, Elvis, Catch Me If You Can, which is a movie I love.
I forgot he was in Elvis. I do like Catch Me If You Can.
He's doing a weird accent in Elvis. I thought that movie was gonna suck. Pretty good.
He's doing a weird accent in Catch Me If You Can too. Kyle Hanratty. My name is Frank William Abagnale. It's not Abagnale. It's not Abagnale. It's Abagnale.
Mr. Abagnale. That's a good movie. That's a fun one to rewatch. Yeah. Our number one album this week, Bobby Brown, Don't Be Cruel.
God damn. I'll be meeting that guy soon, by the way.
It went platinum 7 times. It's the number one album of 1989. Also, I listened to it today. Pretty good.
I gotta listen to some Bobby Brown. All I know is My Prerogative, which is a all-time banger, bro.
Yeah. I never listened to it. The only note that Bobby Brown didn't ask me to give him, but I'm going to give him, is some of these songs a little bit long.
I'll talk to him.
Yeah. Tell him to cut some of Don't Be Cruel.
Yeah, could you make Don't Be Cruel a little shorter?
Yeah, can you go back, recut it? Don't Be Cruel is rules. That song's awesome. Rock With Ya is also great. So is Ronnie, and then My Prerogative. Those are all.
Oh goddamn! My Prerogative is like a short list banger for that type of music.
The number one song this week is Paula Abdul, Straight Up.
Oh god!
Another
short list banger.
Yeah, which had been number one for 3 weeks.
Goddamn.
In my desire to try to make my belabored point of comparing the NWA to WWF at this time, the Chi-Town Rumble did 130,000 pay-per-view buys in February, and the WWF's inaugural pay-per-view Royal Rumble did 165,000 buys. So they are not far off from one another.
Yeah.
I would like to ask you the age of some of these wrestlers.
Okay, I'm sorry that I fucked up the Randy Rose one because I would have gotten that one off by like 15 years.
I didn't even put Randy Rose down. So
okay. He looked old as shit, bro. And he's fucking. Well, and I know Ric Flair's 40.
Ric Flair is actually 39. He turns 40 5 days after this.
Who fucking cares, right?
Yeah.
5 days.
How old is young beach blonde babyface Stang?
Oh, Nikes. Okay, this is 33 years ago. Sting's he's like 30.
It's 29.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sting's probably 63 now, so he's probably 62, I guess.
New world heavyweight champion, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat.
He is. I'd say he's like almost 70 now. So 35.
Dude, you fucking nailed it.
Kaboom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And he turned 36 8 days after this.
Oh
so
shit.
you were right, as close as you could be.
I would have claimed victory if I said 36 too.
Yeah. The dog-faced gremlin, Rick Steiner, is how old?
Ooh, 32.
You do your man wrong. He's 27.
God damn.
Yeah.
He is a dog-faced gremlin, isn't he?
Yeah, those are rough years.
I figured he was in his 60s now.
Those are wrestled since an early age.
Yeah.
Years he's put on. What about our friend Freebird Michael Hayes?
Oh shit. He's got to be It was 33 years ago. I don't think he's 70 yet. It's 34.
Michael Hayes, again, you do your man wrong. 29.
God damn, so he was pretty young in the WW fucking in the world WCCW shit, right?
Yeah. He was
okay.
his opponent, Russian Assassin #1. The mask is going to be a problem.
That's a tough one. I know he's old as shit though, isn't he? Like
Yeah.
he's like at least 40 during this, right?
Not quite,
Ah, okay.
but
37.
it's 35.
Oh shit. Okay.
but
His picture on the only reason I brought that up is I think his Wikipedia picture looks like it's from the fucking 40s.
Yeah.
It is.
Did you see what he also used to wrestle as?
Yeah, the Angel of Death.
Angel of Death.
Look at that.
That. Yeah.
That picture's from the 50s, bro.
That's why he's Russian Assassin #1 in the mask.
Yeah.
How old is Jimmy Cornette?
35. No, you less. Because he's not. That would make him 68 now, and he's not 68. He's like 30.
27.
Oh fuck. Okay, he's younger than I thought he was.
Paulie Dangerously.
Oh fuck. 30.
23.
He was 23 years old?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Good for him, dude. He was really good on the mic in his promos. He did a really good job with the crowd. His work wasn't like in the ring wasn't very good, but I think they played off that really well. Like, did you notice when he got in the ring? One I can't remember which guy it was. I think it was not Victory. It was Randy Rose was holding his hands up, and Paul E was throwing like effeminate punches at the hands.
Yeah. That's you got to hit him with the, what does Mo call it? The stinger, the boxing glove with the barbed wire around it. Yeah.
He said I couldn't do that no more, something like that.
Oh yeah, they don't allow that no more. How old is Jim Ross?
Oh fuck.
He's wearing a tux. He's looking good here.
He's at least 70 now, right? So he's got to be 39.
You're close. 37.
Okay, that's not bad.
Pretty good. And
So
finally,
he's like right at 70 now.
yeah. How old is Bob Caudle?
Oh fuck.
Backstage announcer.
58.
You fucking nailed it, dude.
Big Bob Caudle guy.
Yeah, born August 2nd, 1930.
Holy shit.
When Bob Caudle was born, minimum wage was a quarter.
A quarter.
and
you were happy with that quarter.
Yeah. And gas cost 20 cents. In 1989. Huh?
So gas costs 4/5 of an hour of work.
Yeah.
What's an hour of work now? Say you make $20 an hour, make it easy. Gas would be $16 a gallon if it was the same. Gas was expensive as shit back then.
Yeah.
But I would have to go minimum wage anyway.
Sure. The average gas price in 1989
$1.37.
was $1.
Oh fuck.
The minimum wage
Must have had a Republican president back then.
was
By the way, I hate Donald Trump.
the
just to make it clear to anybody who heard that joke I just made.
1989, the federal minimum wage was $1.90.
In 1989.
And the state minimum wage was $3.35.
Man,
That's-
I made $7.25 my first job.
Do you think that when Bob Caudle was born, had a transatlantic flight happened?
I'm guessing since you're asking, it either hadn't happened or it had just happened.
What do you think?
It happened the year before.
1945.
Oh, 15 years later.
Transatlantic flight. Bob Caudle lived in a world where you couldn't get to England. Fuck you, dude.
God
No,
damn.
He was born the same year as Buzz Aldrin and Neil Armstrong.
Buzz Aldrin's still alive, right?
Yeah.
Betty White was born 9 years. She was 9 when Bob Caudle was born.
Yeah. The first red and green traffic lights were installed in Manhattan in 1930. He lived in a world that had recently happened. Babe Ruth signs a 2-year contract with the New York Yankees. You want to know? Take a guess how much they paid Babe Ruth 1930?
20 grand.
Much more. But
100 grand.
160 grand.
Oh,
Babe's making 80K. He doesn't have to worry about gas. He's doing all right.
yeah.
So,
He's the babe.
Gandhi is alive at the same time as Bob Caudle. And he's beginning his 200-mile march protesting the British salt tax. That's...
And he was complaining about the black.
Yeah.
Apparently
yeah.
Gandhi did not like the black.
No. Constantinople just becomes Istanbul. If you had a date in Constantinople, she'll be waiting in Istanbul.
The Archduke Franz Ferdinand. It only died 11 years
Yeah.
prior.
No, it's... Dude, I just looked up 1930 stuff because it was blowing my mind. The BBC announced on April 18th, there is no news at 8:45 p.m. and played music for the remaining 15 minutes of the time slot.
Those were the days because that was public news. They didn't have to make a bunch of shit up because they didn't have a bunch of fucking commercials to sell, and the world hadn't ended yet.
Scotch tape is invented and
yeah,
sold
dude.
for the first time.
Morgan Freeman wouldn't be born for 7 years.
Yeah. In Poland, the German Socialist Labor Party is founded. That probably won't end poorly for
That's gonna
anybody.
be fine. That's gonna be fine.
Yeah, everybody's cool.
Everybody's cool.
The tobacco industry announced it produced 123 billion with a B cigarettes in 1930.
Fuck yeah, dude. That's
Yeah.
gonna work out fine. Just like the German Socialist Party.
Bob Caudle was born a year. He was born like 6 months after the Great Depression.
John Wayne was 23.
Clint Eastwood was just born. Time is wild, man. Time is it's a weird thing to... I would never imagine Gandhi and Bob Caudle living on the same earth at the same time, you know?
Yeah, I had a string of tweets about Betty White when she was it Betty White or Morgan Freeman? So Betty White was born 7 years before Anne Frank.
Yeah.
There's one that's like George Coe, a member of Billy the Kid's gang, the Regulators, died in 1941 when Morgan Freeman was 4 years old.
Yeah, that's... I don't get it. Well, I mean, I do get it, but it's weird to think about things in that context because I think of Gandhi as being so old, and it's like, oh yeah, I guess not that old. In the relative span of history.
Yeah, it's weird, man. It's like I think it was like if you started Betty White's life and you go back 2 Betty White lifetimes, Thomas Jefferson was alive or some shit.
Yeah. Also, my favorite fact of 1930, well, 2. Bonnie and Clyde meet for the first time on January 5th, 1930.
Fuck yeah.
The last naturally occurring element is found, francium.
It's
And my favorite fact.
what they make baguettes with.
Yeah. Elm Farm Ollie is the first cow to fly in a fixed wing aircraft, as well as the first cow to be milked on an airplane. Man, the good old days. Whatever
man.
that was. That's
You know what-
entertainment.
You know what sucks?
That cow's dead as
That
shit.
cow's dead, bro.
Yeah.
That cow. What's it called? What is his name?
Hold on.
L Farm Ollie or some shit. like that?
Elm Farm Ollie.
Elm Farm Ollie.
Dead as hell.
The fucking names that they call. You can find a picture of Elm Farm Ollie.
Oh, let me see.
America's flying milking cow.
That's like, see, they didn't need hour-long sitcoms or fucking 27 Marvel films. Just put a cow in a plane.
that cow's in an aeroplane.
The-
I wonder if the milk will taste different. Look.
Yeah, it's up higher.
There's a picture of a cow sticking his head out of a plane, and he's got little goggles. She's got little goggles on her head.
That poor cow.
I know, she just wants to graze.
Yeah.
Why you
mean to
put
that
me up
cow.
here? Why you
Yeah.
put me up here? The grass is down there.
Bad news about Bob Cottle. I was reading his Wikipedia.
Is he dead?
He, I think so. No, Bob Cottle is still alive.
Really? How do you spell his name?
Caudle.
Thank you very much for not spelling Bob for me. I heard you start to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like he's probably alive.
He was.
He was at Ric Flair's last match.
He contributed to the campaigns of Senator Jesse Helm.
Oh.
Yeah. And then became a legislative assistant for Senator Jesse Helm after he left the radio station or TV station in 1980, working in Helm's office until 1996. I don't know if anybody knows who Jesse Helm is. He's a bad man.
He's a racist,
He stinks.
homophobe.
Yeah.
All right, let's go back to Elm Farm Ollie.
Yeah, I didn't want to have to do it to you, but we have to cover the gambit of news here. You know, leave no stone unturned.
Fucking Bob Cottle.
Yeah.
I like this Bob Cottle content that we're putting out.
Look, man, born in 1930. That's weird.
We're gonna have some fun with that.
Yeah. All right. So next week, so everybody knows, the plan is to review Clash of the Champions 6, Rage and Cajun from.
I do declare.
Yeah.
Is this the when Wyndham and Rotunda finally come together?
Yeah. That's in the swamps in the bayou. No, this is Ric Flair, Ricky Steamboat, 2 out of 3 falls for the world title in the Superdome in New Orleans. So that'll be fun. As Andrew said, all the socials he dropped at the top. Thank you to everybody who listens. Leave a review, leave a response. Tell me what song you don't want to hear at your work anymore. If you want, however you want to interact, it's open for that. And we will be back next week because kayfabe and Elm Farm Ollie may be dead, but we are live at the Smart Marks podcast. Bye, everybody.
Oh, it was if you start at the birth of Betty White and travel back in time, the length of Betty White's lifetime. Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and James Madison would still be alive. Just one lifetime.
Hot damn.
Anyway, see you next week. I was looking for that in my Twitter drafts because I remembered I didn't actually tweet it.